What the? What is going on? I might have to restart this. Sorry, guys. What the heck is going on? Yeah, weird. Okay. I mean, if you guys can see me fine, that's perfect. Dude, that's one thing that I was worried about. I was like, I have to go through all my screenshots. Like, I screenshot all my dashing information and stuff. So I had to look through a billion screenshots to find just a message. Because I screenshot comments, I screenshot like a lot of information. What is going on? 1 second. What the heck is going on right now? Be right back. Seems to be working now. So yeah, let's have a conversation about aliens if that's what you want to have. I'm on for a little bit now, for a little bit longer. Um, I'm sorry for leaving the stream so like abruptly and then starting a new one. I'm sorry for that too, because there's probably some people that are like, "Oh man, I gotta come back for this." No, you don't have to. But so that was one of the things that I was truly worried about the most. That was what was breaking my heart, is that I wasn't able to talk to my girlfriend. She's states away, so I don't get to like see her or anything. So we only have communication online, and if I lost her, then that would be just disappointing. I don't see any other girl that's, legit for me. But maybe one day we'll be able to meet. Man, that's amazing. Got to tell her good night. Got to see her smile, and now I can smile. Oh, thank God. Thank you, God, for everything that you do. You have impressed me, and I have like my ego. I used to have an ego, so like God has been impressing my ego. You know what I mean? Like he's pulled me out of an ego. Thank you for joining, guy. Definitely happy Saturday, dude. That was. I'm gonna be honest. That was scary. I was like, oh my God. If I don't stay into contact with her, then that's devastating. All right. And well, 1 second. I'm gonna put this outside. Be right back. So that's fucking epic, dude. I got in contact with my girlfriend again. Nice try, assholes. That was the main thing that I was mostly upset about. Was I was like, I just lost contact with my girl. What the fuck? So, besides that, though, see, they can't take me out, and you know why? Because God's real. If God wasn't real right now, I wouldn't have access to the internet. For real, 100%. There's so many obvious signs that there is something looking out for me. Yes, dude. See, I was worried. So I had to add her through Snapchat because I can't find her number right now. I know her Snapchat, but I don't know her fucking number. Because, I was texting on Telegram, and when you text on Telegram, you're not texting them based on the number. But at least on Snapchat, I can memorize it. And so I was like, is she going to actually add me? Because she ignores so many requests. So I was like, oh no. And oh man, dude, hell yeah. I've been waiting for her to add me, and she added me back. So let's see. Two 100% British and Irish quarter-pound beef patties with cheese, bacon, crispy, and grilled onions, lettuce, and delicious sweet Carolina barbecue sauce in a freshly toasted bun. Hey, welcome, Skylar. Do I know you from somewhere? Maybe you guys can add me on Snapchat. Um, just kidding. But, dude, you need to holler at local dishes. What you mean? I don't know what that means. So, what should I talk about right now? What is the most pressing topic right now besides sports? Like I was out there in the crypto space, so I was like all about crypto for a minute there. Um, isn't that too bad that they shunned me away from crypto And crypto isn't even a popular thing. People don't like crypto. So it's too bad. I like this. I like that. Metal. This is what we're going to be trading with in the future. This is the only thing that you can truly guarantee that that is what it is. You can easily test a coin. Can't test a dollar bill. Can't test the crypto. Make sure that the crypto came from the right place, from a proper dispensary. Should you DoorDash Taco Bell? Bro, don't get Taco Bell. They're under fire, you know. They were causing people explosive diarrhea. Some invested in crypto. I invested in real estate. That's still a bad idea. Real estate is a bad idea right now. There's a housing crisis coming. People do not have money to spend on what you guys have held on to. I promise. And it's sad because you guys don't realize that like these houses, they're not even built properly. Have you seen these inspector channels? There's too many inspector channels that are like exposing all kinds of stuff. You got a $700,000 house and the bathtub isn't even installed properly. Come on. You know, like that's one of the more important things out there is that you don't have cracks in your bathtub so it doesn't leak into the house. They don't even put enough insulation. They got the roofing nail. They got nails in the shingles where it's not supposed to be. It's not underneath the shingle. It's on the just outside of the shingle. That's crazy, dude. Like these new installations are not done properly. So the housing industry, that's about to collapse. People are opening their eyes. They're realizing that these houses are not built properly. Somebody asked me, what do I think about the Jews? Well, they come off as selfish, that's for sure, but they're justified in doing so. What they're doing is they're building a community that's separate from the rest so that people don't have to be bothered with their kosher behavior and you don't have to like or people don't have to bother them. That's pretty much it. They still allow you in the community. It's still legal to be there. You saw Tyler Oliveira. I'm gonna have to look that up. Somebody said they genocided hundreds of millions of people. I'm gonna have to look into that because I don't think there was hundreds of millions of people on the planet to have been genocided at that point. So I don't even think that's based on fact whatsoever. Recommend attending an Eastern Orthodox church. It's a really cool experience. I don't know. Maybe not in beachfront condos with 30% commission. Trust me, dude. I'm not. I'm on a boat, man. It's going fast, and I got the nautical sense past me. The Afghan. Um, what I'm saying is that basic houses, just like these little small one story, two-story houses, just plop built in a week, kind of shit. They're not built properly, and it's being exposed everywhere. And it doesn't matter if there's good, properly made houses. People are seeking houses that were built in 1980 because they don't trust the ones that were built in 2000. You know, they did Red Terror in Eastern Europe. I'm gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna look that up right now. Find out right now. See if I can actually get on the internet here. You got a lot to learn, my man. Have a good night. That's not a lot to learn. That's one thing out of a billion fucking things. It's like something that people don't even really talk about. That's a good thing to hear about and to maybe look into. The Red Terror. I didn't know anything about that. The Bolsheviks, communists. Today is the anniversary of them killing the last Orthodox monarch, Tsar Nicholas II. Oh, my son is gay. I don't know how to cope with this. Okay. It wouldn't be relevant to you unless you're trying to get with him or something weird, man. Like, chill. You know what I mean? Like somebody's sexual orientation, who cares? Uh, yeah, but that's just one thing of many, many things. It only goes deeper from learning about things like the Red Terror. I don't. You're being very specific, and then you saw Hitler going after the Jews. Like it, two wrongs don't make a right. Two lefts make a right, or three lefts make a right, not two wrongs. That stuff happened how long ago? It's like saying that, oh, white people should be held responsible for slavery 100 years later. That's kind of retarded. 150 years later. Connected, limited connection. There we go. So I'm going to look up the Red Terror right now, and I'm going to look into it because this is an interesting subject. I haven't heard anything like that before. I felt like a lot of history in the 1800s and in the early 1900s is kind of unheard of like territory. Red Terror. The Red Terror was a campaign of political repression and mass executions in Soviet Russia and other Soviet republics, which was carried out by the Bolsheviks during the Russian Civil War, chiefly through Cheka, the Bolshevik secret police force. Doesn't have anything to do with Jews. What the fuck are you talking about? Did the Red Terror have any relation to Jewish okay, I don't know anything about Bolshevism. Or I guess that's what's sort of related to Jewish Bolshevism. I don't know what Bolsheviks is. The Red Terror has no official relation to Judaism, but Jews were significantly involved in the Bolshevik movement, leading to the anti-Semitic conspiracy theory of Jewish Bolshevism. That's a conspiracy theory, bro. Even Google doesn't accept that. Well, Google is like communist. What are you talking about? Like Google is in that boat of communism. Bro, how do you not know this basic shit? This is before everything else. This is like 1800s shit. I haven't studied the 1800s. I only studied the like 1930s and onward. I haven't even looked into the First World War. I don't know very much about the First World War. I know quite a bit about the World War II, but not enough. What I understand is just the grand perspective of things. That's where I come from, and I didn't get most of my perspectives from a book. When I considered God, it was through what people were saying. So I used to reject God. Believe it. That's why I'm where I'm at in my life, is because I rejected God for quite a while. It was about 5 years ago that I began to actually truly say to myself, I'm like, yes, I do believe in God. My name here, Godfinger, was like Godsmack, but it was like Godfinger. Had multiple meanings. It didn't relate with God. I was basically taking a word, a name that was already used, and I just added finger to it instead. I used to like Tucker Carlson. Somebody said that I should check out Tucker Carlson's interview with Jay Dyer. I don't watch him anymore because he's just like, I used to watch him all the time. I thought he was incredibly great. Did you know the British helped the Jews secure mandate Palestine on for the Jews to kill British officers and run them out of the territory? How long ago was that? Do you really want me to like say something that was from back in the day that affects me? Well, my red hair, my race of people were used in the Industrial Revolution to build the entire planet as slaves. We were indentured servants. So if you want to talk about the history of everything, redheads and Europeans built the world through the Industrial Revolution. Tons of us died. So if you want to talk about history, well, when are you going to start standing up for me? No, it's bullshit. You know what I mean? I don't care. History explains how we got to where we're at and helps us prevent what already happened that was bad. That's as simple as it is. You're European. I'm Scottish. Let's see. Hello, everyone. Hope you are doing well. Beautiful. Greetings from Canada. Greetings as well from America, Florida. Greetings from Israel. Welcome. I don't believe that person is Israeli. I have a feeling. Maybe he is. He or she is. Shall I introduce myself, or will Ve Victe do it for me? I don't know. Who is Ve Victe? Um, let's see. Ve Victe, hell brother. Who is that? Turn off the TV, turn off the phone, throw away the pager. Okay. Yes, I know. Read some Vasily Grossman, Red Army war correspondent. That's all back in the day. It's 100 years ago. What's today is today. Yes, so why do you worship a Jew? You're European? We left Europe to go to America, a new world, to practice our religion in peace. Okay? Whether or not the Jews had anything to do with it doesn't really matter because we have our Christianity and we're over here. And Trump has now rededicated America to Christianity, to God. Yes, the Balfour Declaration was the Rothschilds' bidding for Israel to blackmail Lloyd George into giving them a homeland so that they could create Greater Israel. This is all ancient bullshit. It doesn't matter. All this stuff doesn't matter if we all just work together. Trump made it so that we can work together and we can build. That's what Trump's purpose is. He couldn't fix it for us. He just made it so that we can fix it. He fixed it to where we can fix it together. If we're not working together, we can't fix it. It's really not relevant to today because think about it. Look at the crypto space. Look at how money is running through there. You have emperors being created on crypto. We could work together. It's just that we don't, people don't want to work together. Trumpstein. That's funny. Dude, the guy kicked him out of his hotel. What are you talking about, Trumpstein? Like he was his best buddy or something. If you look at the timeline, Trump did not like Epstein once he figured out what he was doing. Let's see. Yeah, non-Jews hate us, and it's like, what it is, it's a hype train. People are on a hype train. They just want to hate. They want something to hate because their lives are not doing too well. And the millionaires, not the billionaires, not the real people, the fucking millionaires are like there's people that are millionaires and they believe in an ideology that's for peace. And then you got the millionaires that don't believe in an ideology at all. Those people want to discredit those who actually are on the right side. And the right side is just peace. We all just want to find peace. Look at the book. Look at God. God stands for peace. Islam. What is the difference between Muslims and the Christian God and the Jewish God? Well, the Muslims, they're like, let's change things. We got to bring them over to our side and there's nothing else. That's not an ideology. That's conquer, command and conquer. It's in the name. It's in the word jihad. They want to change things and by force. That's jihad. Anybody who thinks otherwise is literally being lied to. How's your night going? Dude, my night just got really good. I just got into contact with my girlfriend again. It's like, hell yes. My phone's getting fucking hacked, but I still got in contact with my girlfriend. I'm like, sweet. I'll talk to her again tomorrow. She's going to sleep. Yeah, I'm gonna lie, man. You are beyond cooked. I'm not gonna lie, you're beyond cooked. What are you talking about, dude? See, this is the weird shit. You got these little trolls around. They're not out there for a conversation. I like a real conversation. Let's have it. And I'm not going to disregard everything that you're saying. I am going to say that some of this stuff doesn't really apply to today. Like you're in this conspiratorial mindset where what happened 100 years ago still applies today to a certain degree, but not really. Because look at what The Rothschilds did. I looked at the history of it because I was incredibly curious. They gave out coins. He created pieces of metal. He gave it out for free. That's what the Rothschilds did. They gave it a piece of metal out for free. The guy, I don't know his first name, but the first Rothschild. And then he got people to follow a currency. That's how he did it. So he got everybody on his side. Doesn't matter what side he's on. It's just that he was a little bit selfish and he was doing his own thing. And he was Jewish, I believe, right? So who cares that he was Jewish? He was just trying to keep it in the family. Eventually, once you have that much power, you're also corrupted by having that much power. So by definition, it's like corruption automatically. I don't know. I'm just excited. I wanted to smile with you guys. I wanted to say hell yeah and praise God and love everything. Just love it. No, Jews created central banking and they also created usury before that. Yeah, central banking isn't bad. It's the fact that we got off of this standard and we went onto the paper dollar. That's the problem. I wouldn't say the Rothschilds were terrible people. I would just say that they got mixed in with everybody's business and they became ultra wealthy. When you're involved with everyone, you end up getting a little bit of poop on your face. Just like Trump, he was hanging out with Epstein at one point. He got poop in his face. Trump's not a fucking rapist. He's not a pedo. He was trying to kill pedos. Dude, Trump, bro. Okay, look, no one's perfect, okay? Trump was trying to put into law to give the death penalty to pedophiles. Did you know that? That's what he campaigned on for his second run. Literally. That's what he campaigned on. If you hate him because that was his plan. You know what Ron DeSantis did? He made it so that if you rape a child, somebody under 13, you can get the death penalty. If you rape a little person like that, you get the death penalty. Good job. How dare you? You know what I mean? If you can't control yourself around somebody like that, come on, man. Can't trust you in society at all. We can't trust you in the jail cell. Like, that's what Ron DeSantis did, and that was what have I walked into. That's funny. Oh, now I'm live again, so apparently I'm getting denial of service attacked like usual. So if you guys are seeing this live, it's great. If you're not, then obviously it's because too many anti-Israel people here, and it's not even just anti-Israel, dude. It's people just don't follow any sort of religion. They don't follow any sort of rhyme or reason in their messaging. They're just like, we want to cause chaos, so we want to refute what everyone else is saying. That's their goal. That's the gang's goal. No one's perfect, by the way, so just have that in mind. But look up the Havar Agreement, okay? Let's see. Look that up. 1 second here. Because I keep getting knocked off because of freaking trolls. I gotta keep reconnecting. It's so stupid. What's that? Havar. What is it? The Havara Transfer Agreement was a 1933 pact between Nazi Germany and Zionist organizations that allowed emigrating German Jews to transfer a portion of their assets to Palestine, and immigrants deposited money into a German bank, which was used to buy German export goods. These goods were sold in Palestine, allowing immigrants to recover a portion of their wealth. What's wrong with that? I think the price at that point, didn't they? I think they've already paid their dues at that point. Right? They took the money from the Jews, the Zionist organizations, and they gave it to Palestinians. That's what it looks like to me. I'm not in the right mind to do any actual research right now, but in a couple of days, I'm sure I will be. I doubt that I'll revisit this topic, but I might revisit it when I see this page again. The Harvar Agreement was to get Jews out of Germany. Also, that contradicts the point that they stole wealth from Jews. Jews also called an international boycott of German goods worldwide. I don't know how that has anything to do with eliminating lives of Jews. 9 million Jews were ended. Like that doesn't really tell me anything, you know what I mean? That couple walked around parties trying to get pictures with people so they can use those pictures for blackmail. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what happened. And they grabbed Trump's picture. They even grabbed Prince Andrew's picture, just his hand around a chick's waist, you know? And I saw the same shit happening to me. Dude, I was hanging out with these chicks. All right. When I was young, we used to hang out with plenty of the younger chicks. That was normal. Okay? Did we fuck them? No. No. But we were young and we asked the older generation for alcohol. We asked them for weed so we could smoke some weed and get drunk. All right. That's kind of just what happens when you're young. Okay. And there was people trying to take pictures. These chicks would always try to take pictures with me. So there's pictures of me on Facebook where like I'm in a picture with this chick that was kind of young. Like there's been shit like that. So like everybody's got that. The only difference between what happens today, where everybody's picture is getting taken, and what happens back then is a billion boomers didn't get pictures taken of them. The only boomers that got pictures taken of them is the ones that was hanging out with the elite rich class. Nobody's perfect, man. We used to fucking drink, dude. We used to have to ask the older generation to drink. We used to do that. You're gonna call the older generations pedophiles, you know? Just how it is, man. You know, you can have self-control. You know, just because Trump ended up in a picture doesn't mean that automatically is a rapist. Like, fucking idiots. Upregulating TET enzyme synthesis will increase removal of methylation groups on gene sequences, rejuvenating cells. So are you talking about Gossip Goblin, where we start juicing up, start getting these stim packs? Yeah, 9 million people, apparently. That's what I heard. How many, I'm going to ask, how many Jewish people lost their lives by Nazis during those times? Let's see. I think it was 9 million. I'm not defending predators. I'm saying that everybody's been caught in a picture or in a situation where it doesn't look too good for them. You know, everybody's got a picture out there that, you know, isn't in line with what's proper. Trying to connect to this, but it's not letting me connect because probably denial of service attacks. All right, cool. We got connected. So the amount of Chuzlums in the chat. The sad thing about Muslims is they teach basically like Christianity to their own people. In a way, that like they're teaching them the false reading from the Quran. They're trying to say that jihad is kind of like the Christian perspective where you're influencing somebody else. That's what a Muslim scholar told me. What I found out is that's fake. That's bullshit. But that person absolutely believed in what he was told. So he believed in it, thinking that that was a Christian idea. You know, that's a Christian ideology. You go out there, Jesus saves and stuff like that. That's what the Muslim was trying to explain to me is jihad, when it's not the case. So they're under the wrong impression. They think that they're following Muslim. They think that they're following Allah. They're not. They're following the Christian God and they have no idea. Many Muslims are actually following the Christian God, but they're reading the wrong book. You know what I mean? It's a crazy contradiction to what's actually happening. You know, what the Muslims are actually being taught is something that's actually based in reality, but they don't understand like what the book's actually trying to tell them. Let's book, The History of Central Banking and the Enslavement of Mankind. I'm gonna look that up. History of Central Banking. I'll do an audio list. I'll listen on audio. Banking and the enslavement of mankind. I'll look it up. Let's see. It's just their group identity, just like Christianity is your spiritual liberal identity. Not when they're saying death to America, not when they're saying, nuclear holocaust to the whole Western world. They're saying down with Israel constantly. And all Israel is saying is like, get away from me. That's all Israel's doing. They're like, get the hell out of my community. I'm just trying to do my own thing, man. Stop bothering me. I'm defending Jews from the perspective of they just want to be left alone. They want to prosper. That's all they want. I don't know why people hate Jews for just wanting to be themselves and be left alone. Like, why do you hate them so much? You might have some internal struggles that you need to handle. You go to a psychologist and you can fix that. Do I think Trump is the best president? Man, he's the only real president we've had for a very long time. Trump is a freaking god, man. I want to talk about gods and stuff. If you want to call any human a god, Trump's a god, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, no, I'm not. The thing about like predators and stuff, dude, I was 14 and there was a 28, 29-year-old banging one of the 14-year-old chicks that I wanted to get with. And it was like normal for the older generation to fuck us over. That was Generation X. So Generation X was pretty nasty. But it was very commonplace. And they never got caught. They never went to jail for it. So, and then it got worse and it got worse and it got worse. Nowadays, you got dudes pimping out probably 10-year-olds. There's way worse than that. That's why they're bringing up the Epstein stuff, to distract you from what's actually going on. You got the whole Black Lives Matter community acting like Trump's a pedo, but bro, they're pimping out your chicks. They're the ones pimping out your chicks, dude. You didn't know that? Black Lives Matter is pedos. Do your research. It sucks to have to say that, but nobody's perfect. Once again. And not the hearers of the law. Let me read that. Let me go back to the first message. One is not a Jew who is one outwardly, but one is a Jew who is one inwardly. You're speaking in tongues. And not the hearers of the law are justified, but the doers of the law shall be justified. Yeah, the doers of the law, absolutely. But nobody's perfect, once again. Not going to be able to ever follow the laws. I've done everything right except for I could say maybe one thing that I've done that's just, people would be like, that's terrible. How dare you? But everything else I've been in line with. No one's perfect because I'm not perfect. I went from tons and tons and tons and tons of chicks to just one. I got one now. I learned. And I'll never go back to what I was doing. But I can tell you this, no physical contact. I met up with one chick online. 2 other times, so out of 3 times where I attempted, 1 time I hung out with a chick from online. Besides that, I had made no attempt to hang out with chicks. I talked to the chicks. They explained it to me. So I know what y'all been up to. You little Trump haters, you Israel haters. You're hating Israel and you're pointing at Israel and you're attacking Israel and you came out of your shadows and I see you. You came out of the shadows. All the trolls. DRZ, good seeing you again. I'm gonna have to leave this stream. He's hurting my brain. Well, is there anything that you would, you know, that you would say that you were imperfect about? Would you put that out into the world? Probably not. You don't want to tell the truth. I'm as close to telling the truth as I could be. Yeah, Israel is a common scapegoat because they have a lot of power, and the power that they have is in belief. Israel is holding the line for Christianity. That's how I feel about it. If Israel didn't exist still, then America wouldn't be able to continue doing what we are doing and being strong because there wouldn't be any ideological origin. Instead, what we would be is some kind of murderous group of Europeans that came over and ruined Indians. That's what they want to paint us as. No, we were escaping. We were refugees. You want to talk about refugees? Bro, the Christians were refugees and they ran over to America and they gave technology to the Native Americans. They helped Native Americans finish the fight between each other. No more barbarism. That's what Christians did. You had Alexander the Great going around. No more cannibalism. That's not surface level knowledge, knowing what happened before World War I. It doesn't really matter. Let's see. You realize the people who push for black and native reparations are anti-white Jews. I don't know about that. I think you just made that up. Anyways, I think you just might have made that up. They're Mormons. I haven't looked into the Mormons. They believe in do you know how Israel's religion and Christianity clash with each other due to the fact that Jews see Jesus as a fake or failed savior? It doesn't really matter. See, I believe that the Jews can come around to understand that Christianity is just a refined version of the Old Testament, and that's all it is. Jesus did come, simplified the 10 commandments for us. So instead of the 142 commandments, we got 10 commandments. It's easy to recognize. Everybody can be in line. That's something that, if Jews believe that Jesus didn't exist, that he didn't actually come to be, he was a failed savior, I beg to differ. But it doesn't matter. That's just a Jewish opinion. It's not an Old Testament opinion. The Old Testament doesn't reject the idea of Jesus. It would be the scholars that are digging into the books that would reject the idea. And I would beg them to come to the table and let's compromise with, yeah, Jesus did exist. They'll never accept Christ, bro. Well, that's the thing, is that these are not evil. They are not the evil. They've been possessed by evil. They've been possessed by Satan, and they can be exorcised. So I know, and I will be out there in the streets. If you guys see me and you hate me already, you'll have a chance to get me if you want, because I'm going to be putting my face out there. I'm going to be next Charlie Kirk. Let's go. Take me out. But I'm going to be standing up for free speech and peace. But he was wounded for our transgressions. He was bruised for our inequities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and with his stripes, we are healed. Right? You're wearing a bonnet, bro, talking about someone being possessed. I wear this to keep bugs out of my hair. I live in Florida, bro. I'm going to keep the bugs out of my hair. I don't want to lose my hair. No one wants to hurt you. Dude, my phone just got hacked. My phone got hacked. Okay? Yeah, people want to hurt me. People tell me they're going to swerve at me while I'm riding down the road. Yeah, people want to hurt me. Somebody asked me what my favorite hallucinogen is. DMT. So I haven't done hallucinogenics since I was 24. That's about 13 years ago. Do I believe in God? Absolutely. I wouldn't be alive today if God wasn't real. God saved me. God helped me get over drinking. I don't. Yeah, that is the right one, dude. Like, if you're gonna do any hallucinogen, if you're gonna be a fucking degenerate, don't do acid. It's gonna destroy your spine. It's gonna destroy your, like, if you do acid too many times, your skeleton starts weakening and you feel the pain. Ecstasy, you'll have a hole in your brain. Shrooms, you'll go retarded. DMT will bring you to the light and solve all of those things. So even if you did shrooms, did acid, did ecstasy in the past, you do DMT, it's going to pull you right out of that problem. And you know you got a problem after you've been addicted to those things. After I did DMT, I didn't do a single other hallucinogen since because I didn't need it. I saw the truth. God is real. You'll find it soon. Maybe not soon. At some point in your life, you will feel that God is real. Somebody said, chat officials said God is not real. So I'm going to give them some hope. They're just blowhards. It's the internet. Let's see. All we like sheep have gone astray. We have turned everyone to his own way, and the Lord hath laid on him the iniquity of us all. It's hard to decipher. I'm sorry. I'm like tired, dude. I'm like exhausted. He was oppressed and he was afflicted. Yet he opened not his mouth. He is brought as a lamb to the slaughter, and as a sheep before her shearers is dumb, so he openeth not his mouth. We have to be doers, not just the hearers of the word. Perfect. That's true. That's true. And that's why I'm telling people, I'm like, if you are a millionaire, start working with your community. If you're a good person and you love your community and you love God, start helping people. Don't find the fucking guy holding the damn sign and I don't have the time to be sitting on a road. Don't be handing, billions of dollars to the guy holding the sign. Please help me. Give me some money. He's got the time to do that. I'm broke beyond words. I don't have the time to do that. I'm the one who needs help. I'm out there on a bike riding, dude. I'm trying to get shit done, man. But go and help. If you're a millionaire and you believe in God, start building your community. Build a supply chain. Maybe work with me. I want to bring people together and get off of this internet crap because the internet is destroying us. It's pulling us apart. And it's not the internet itself. It's not the internet is evil. It's that evil people are on the internet. People that are possessed are on the internet trying to cause problems. DMT will bring you straight to heaven. Absolutely. It'll bring you to the truth. But here's the thing is that you don't need it to find that either. You don't need DMT. You don't need drugs to find the truth. That's what I learned after doing those things. I was like, oh, all I had to do was believe? Damn. I could have produced these endorphins just by going on a run? Wow. I was already doing that as a child. I already felt these feelings and these aspirations and inspirations and these visions that I had while doing the hallucinogenics just by going for a run through the woods. I didn't have to do that stuff. You don't have to do that stuff either. You'll find the truth just by being active. You just got to believe in that truth. If Jesus got you clean, then he also was the reason you used to get high. Not really. It's retarded. Everybody makes mistakes and everybody learns. And that's the whole point of life. You're supposed to experience things, learn things, and then speak the truth when you see the truth. Some people speak the untruth because they don't know the truth yet. And that's who I can recognize. I can recognize the people that just simply don't know the truth. And then I can spot the people who do know the truth, but they want to twist it into something nasty. Did you hear about permanent daylight savings time being possible? I heard something about that. I am not a fan of daylight savings time. It shouldn't be. we should go based on 24 hours, and these are the same hours every single day, every year. That's my opinion. Stop making things complicated, you know? If anything, we should be going back to like a moon cycle or something that we can actually gauge. God is not real. God is great. I love this. This is back and forth. There's somebody saying God is not real. God is great. Love it. Shaggy solving another mystery. I know, right? This is illusion slash God is the only real thing. Yeah, that's true. It is written, they shall seek to change the times. I know, right? It's literally in the book to change the times. Like, you know, you had Constantine or Constantinople or something. I think it was Constantine that decided to put us on the Gregorian-based calendar. Um, you're not real, Chad. Yeah, no, right? He ain't real. He's just like a robot at this point. Even if he did have a brain, it's just robot. The Word was with God. The Word is God, and the Word was God. Really? It says that? So it's literally saying that everything is God. Perfect. See, I'm not a scholar of the Bible, but I've listened to the Bible, the Old Testament and the New Testament, fully, twice. And obviously, with 87 hours to listen to, you're not going to pick up on every single verse. I didn't read it in the book. I listened to it on audiobook. You can look it up on YouTube, type in Bible full, and you'll see it. It says the Old Testament and the New Testament. You can read it right. You can listen to it right from the same place I listened to it from. Bro, it's only us and nature. I understand that perspective. And that's really the way that we kind of have to see things, but with a moral perspective. The only problem is that some people are not capable of having that common sense. Like I said before, my old ideology was that you don't need the Bible to do the right thing. That was my point back in the day. But it seems that some people do need the Bible because they don't understand what the right thing is. And it's as simple as teaching somebody the 10 commandments, don't do this, don't do that, and everything will be fine. You know, you don't have to get into the whole book to describe why not to kill somebody, why not to steal from somebody. That's just common sense shit. But it's easy to use the 10 commandments to pass that on, and that's why Christianity. Keep it simple. Shorter book, shorter message, easier to identify, easier to absorb, for us to all be on the same page. 142 commandments, that's a lot of extra stuff. I believe that they absolutely do apply, and I believe that, you know, the Old Testament has a place in Christianity. But we don't really need all that extra information to describe the 10 commandments and what not to do. Wait till you realize what Yahweh really was and what you worship. I don't think I'm gonna realize anything that you're seeing, dude. Sorry. Not Matthew 7 verse 21. Not everyone who says Lord, Lord will enter heaven, but the one who does the will of the Father in heaven. Beautiful. Slim, you telling Chad he's not real is an illusion. But like I said, you know, I'm not perfect. I'm smoking a cigarette off the side here, so excuse me while I do that. And God, please forgive me. Please. You're going to be disappointed to find out you worship a Canaanite pantheon, which is not true, because if that was the case, what do you isn't Canaanites, isn't that like Egyptians? Egyptians have a different burial practice than Christians. How do they relate? They really are helping Israel. And you know what? You guys are helping Israel right now by putting all this information out there and showing me like why Israel is actually kind of a nice, decent nation. Like, who cares what the hell, you know? Look, the October is the October 12th attacks or the October 8th attacks, whatever that October attack was, that was Israel's 9/11, okay? The reason why they're going so hardcore against these terrorists is because they have been attacked and it was like their 9/11. You consider the amount of people that lost their lives, put that in proportion to the population of Israel, and then put that into the same proportion as how many people had died in the Twin Tower attack. It's the same damn thing. They got attacked to the same degree as America got attacked during the Twin Towers. Of course they're going to go hard. Okay? They released pamphlets to Gaza to tell them to leave so that they can go after the terrorists. They decided not to leave. This is our land. You can't tell us to leave. That's not the point, dude. You need to get out of the way so we can attack the people who just came after us. They kidnapped our people. We need to find them. He was taken from prison and from judgment, and who shall declare his generation? For he was cut off out of the land of the living. For the transgression of my people he stricken. Even if that's true, it doesn't matter. Right. It really doesn't matter today. We are here, we are now, and we can make the future together. Let's work together. Let's start loving God from that perspective. Let's right our wrongs. Nobody's perfect. Begin to forgive others and forgive yourself. So that's another thing. The reason why they say Jewish died for our sins is that so we can find peace within ourselves. God will forgive you if you want that forgiveness. You have to ask. And he made his grave with the wicked and with the rich in his death, because he had done no violence, neither was any deceit in his mouth. That's beautiful. Cold turkeys. How does it not matter? It definitely matters. I'm in the context of Christians not knowing what they're really worshiping. I think I'm just worshiping the Ten Commandments at the end of the day, dude. I think that's a holy way of, belief. I don't see anything wrong with following the Ten Commandments. Yeah, these people are just like hype zombies. They want to have some kind of a chaotic situation. They want to confuse people. And believe me, AI surveillance is going to fix all of this. So I don't know how, Israel feels about it. I don't know how the rest of Christianity feels about it. But this is what I see. Mass surveillance AI is going to solve this problem for everybody. It's going to be both good and bad. As with everything comes good and bad. And it's going to bring a reckoning to pretty much everyone. There will be fire. Congrats on getting this far. Keep it up, and you love a life you're proud of. Good luck. Thank you. And that goes to everybody. Guys, if you guys continue to keep your eyes open and to try to be aware and try to learn, you're going to find the truth. Just don't believe the bullshit. Believe what you see, not what you hear. Because even my words, like, just because I'm speaking, I'm imperfect. My words are imperfect. Some of the things that I say, you have to take with a grain of salt. It's not 100% perfect. I can never be perfect. Somebody said they got bonded out of jail today and got battery charged. Damn. Yet it pleased the Lord to bruise him. He hath put him to grief. When thou shalt make his soul an offering for sin, he shall see his seed. He shall prolong his days. All you did was push your dad, bro? Why'd you do that? Isn't he like 50,000 years old or something, bro? It's mean. You're a jerk. Nah, you get that kind of stuff in families. That's why. Nobody's perfect. Jesus was so unpopular, some Jewish apostles lied to subvert Gentiles. And you know what? Those Jewish apostles that hated him, they didn't understand probably what his message was. They thought that he was trying to pervert the word of God. But no, he was just trying to bolster and strengthen the word of God. By giving it less complication, you bolster the message. Don't be violent unless forced to, right? And it was a state mandate by a Jew named Constantine. Yeah, the guy who changed the freaking, okay, so isn't that the guy that changed time, that put us on the Gregorian calendar? So the guy who changed time is obviously a false prophet. You're saying that you're giving him validity? Come on, man. Ve victe. You've never read it yourself, though? That's crazy. I don't know. Here's the thing is that only about 5 years ago, I truly believed that absolutely. And I put my hand on the Bible and I gave my life to Jesus. And this was in a church. So I've been, what is that called? Like, christened I think it's called. So I did that. And at that point, that was about 5 years ago, I felt absolutely within it because I was like, that is my calling. That feels good that I did that. Then Rome fell not long after Christianity became state religion. Go figure. That's all in the weeds, man. We're here now and today. I'm gonna stop reading Vey Victe's stuff because it's just like a constant trail of chaos. But I wanted you all to see that I'm giving him a chance to have a real conversation, and he didn't. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. Let's see. Then okay, I'm not reading Vey Victes for now. Let's have a real conversation. Let's talk about moving forward. How do we move forward? We start reaching out to these millionaires that are in our local communities. Oh God, I didn't even see this. This guy's spamming. We need to reach out in our local communities. I need to put my life on the line. I'm going to be out there like a street preacher. I'm going to be with a sign. I'm going to be saying, get off the internet. It's bad. And people are going to come over like, fuck you, man, you old ass. And that's okay. And then I'm going to have the people who have seen me and have targeted me, and they will probably take me and end me. So that's okay. But I will have died speaking the truth, standing by the truth. You disregard everything we're telling you about Israel from not even 100 years ago, but you think an ancient Hebrew story is relevant. It's a book, dude. I'm talking about the 10 Commandments that stand out above the rest. 10 Commandments just simplified the Old Testament for us. The message is pure. Who cares what people had done against the Bible? Because those people that had done terrible things, they weren't following the actual Bible. Evidently. I'm generation millennial. I was there before internet, during the transition, and then into the next generation. He said something about 100 years ago not being relevant, yet believes Jesus from 2,000 years ago is relevant. Yeah, it is relevant because it's the message behind the book, not the book itself. Greetings. Okay, that's not the point. Targeted you for saying the internet is bad. Yeah, probably. I'm going to have some young people throwing shit at me, it's probably what's going to happen. Well, look at how vulnerable we are. I can't get on my phone because I can't receive a text message because the people fucking shut my eSIM off and they were supposed to turn it right back on. I couldn't get onto the phone early enough in the morning, so that 24-hour pin expired and now I can't get on my phone. Like, come on, man. Even though I have all of my information, I have all my transaction data, I've got, texts from the phone company that I could recite, and they don't want to help me. That's peculiar. Now I have the same device ID that I've been using with that cell phone plan for the last 5 months straight, paying bills, and they can't get me in my account because a PIN number. That's unreliable. We need to get off of the internet. We need to be trading in this, not this. I used to believe in crypto until this situation and until I experienced Pump Fun. So when I tell you guys to go on Pump Fun, I'm more so telling you to go on Pump Fun because nobody can hack that account. So if this thing gets hacked again and I can't access it, then you guys can find me on Pump Fun because that can't get hacked. I'm not telling you guys to play with coins. I am saying if you throw any money at the coin, that'll be not only supporting the project, but do not put more than $1. Don't put a lot of money in it. Throw it in there as just a support stick. Throw 10 cents in it. Go on Phantom, though. Don't buy it through Pump Fun because Pump Fun, it'll screw you on gas fees and everything. You have to pay a bribery fee, 0.012 Sol. It's a waste of time. You can't preset your slippage. You can't preset your fees. It's totally useless. It'll just waste your money, man. So this person said Christianity weakened the Western world over the past 1700 years and unironically let parts of Europe become Islamized because Jews are clearly your number one ally. What is this guy saying? Oh my god. Dude. Listen, we're here right now. Believe in your nation. If you're an American, this is a Christian nation. Follow the 10 Commandments. Simple as that. Following the 10 Commandments means if you're minding your own business, you do your thing, man. You're in a Jewish community and you want to mind your own business? Fuck yeah, man. Hell yeah. Peace, dude. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with that. Crypto and stock markets are the devil. Is there 613 commandments? Yeah, that's a lot to remember. You know, you got 10 commandments, and that's just too easy to memorize. Everybody can wrap their head around the same thing. That's why I believe in Christianity. I think Christianity came from the Old Testament. It was a refined version of the Old Testament. So it's still rooted in Jewish. But I'm sick of seeing people saying Israel bad, Israel bad. This little tiny fucking country, this country surrounded by barbarians is bad and somehow controls the planet. Nah, dude. And even if they did, man, props to them, bro. Like, look at how many people were in there. You know, like, even if they had that much control, damn, that is pretty good. I respect them at this point. If they have that much influence in the world, wow, cool. Keep going, man. You know, people are like white people, enslaved, foreigners, and everything, and I'm like, but there's less white people on the planet than there are any other demographic. If white people are controlling the whole planet, then damn, I mean, they must be pretty damn smart, huh? You know, how can you not respect that? But that's not really the case. So Moses smashed the first 10 commandments, so we got a second 10 commandments. Did he? I am looking at that. There are 2 sets of 10 commandments. Wait, so he what? I gotta look that up. It's interesting. See, there's things that I'm not informed about because, like I said, I didn't sit down and scholarly read through every little bit of it. All I did was gain the actual message above all. It's like, oh, that makes sense. Let's see. I can't log in because it's not popping up. Let me make sure I'm actually connected still. Yeah, I am. All right, let's see. LG refrigeration. There's an LG refrigerator Wi-Fi signal on here. I'm seeing somebody's Wi-Fi signal come out of the refrigerator. I didn't know refrigerators had their own modem. It is impressive they've pulled the wool over your eyes. I don't think so, dude, because I haven't talked to any actual people from Israel. I'm a loner. Everything that I've gained for information is a self journey. They have had no influence on me. So if you want to hate what I'm saying, hate me. Because what I'm saying, it comes from within. It doesn't come from what somebody else said. As you can see, I'm refuting a lot of what you're saying because I don't really give a shit. I have my own opinion, you know? Let's see. See how much they want to bully, dude? Like, this person calling out a Jew, like, oh, this Jewish person is crying. Dude, I'm pretty sure he's not crying about you. He's crying about how dumb you are, but this, like, he's sitting there like, God, please reach this person. If anything, he's crying for you. Let's see. Well, that's what you're doing. Somebody's saying when you expose Jewish lies, all they do is name call. That's what you're doing. That's how I know you're a troll. Because that's what you're doing. That's all you're doing. You're name calling. Yeah, of course. You're bringing up history this, history that. Where are we at today? What does the ideology stand for? don't harm others. How is that so terrible? Never heard of the US military, the $1.5 trillion military that rules the world? We also sell our weapons to pretty much every country, so I don't know. I think we've helped every country with their troubles. Don't just rule the world in a terrible way. It's we ruled the world and we actually helped society build. Somebody said white people only exist in the presence of non-white people as a demographic. White people amongst themselves are not a united identity and have no cohesion or shared belief. That's true. That's absolutely true. You know, and then you get people from the Middle East and they seem to be under the same belief. But I still don't hate them because I believe that most Muslims are misled. I believe that Muslims are actually taught a Christian perspective and they are never informed about what they're following is a book that actually calls for the thing that you say that Jews are doing and Jews did, and you're saying that Christianity is genocidal. No, that's what jihad is. It's to make change and to force change. See, I follow the old way of Schwung philosophy of relaxation. Nice. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like I said, you don't necessarily need the Bible to just do the right thing. But a good way to understand the perspective of those who actually believe, truly believe, because they've come to that light and they know that they have to be proactive and believe in God. To understand their perspective, just go read the Ten Commandments. I've said that a billion times, right? Vivek Day, go read Tom Holland's Dominion of Making a Western Mind. Engage your mind and educate yourself, you basement dwelling cretin. Aha, beautiful. And I'll go look that up too. So the other one, history of central banking and that. So I'll, at some point, I'll listen to that as an audiobook probably. Tom Holland's. Of a Western mind. I'll go read that, listen to our audiobook at some point, I'm sure. Read the Ethiopian Bible. A person who never read the Ethiopian Bible, are you talking about the Book of Enoch? How Azazel taught us the weapons of war? He taught mankind weapons of war. Oh, by the way, anybody loves Trump? Trump. You know, I'm a broke person, but I got a $20 bill with a gold-plated $20 bill. Trump train. That was for 2020. So that was my way of supporting at the top of the vote. Let's see. Jesus is in the Quran, and they believe in the immaculate conception. Jesus is the Messiah in the Quran. You can read it. It's not very long. Well, apparently it's not translated properly because I tried to get AI to summarize it for me, and all I saw was a story rather than a set of rules or anything. It was just kind of like a decentralized story with no true aim. So, in my opinion, the Quran is less valid because it doesn't have a set of actual rules. There's no goal to it. It's just change. We got to change things by force. That's what I see so far. Somebody asked, are handicapped people welcome here? Please, sir, God bless. Yeah, you're welcome, dude. I don't know what the hell's, I don't know what you sitting in. You sit in a wheelchair or whatever. Dude, I'm fucking, dude, my, doing this, sitting up like this. I got a herniated disc in my back and a torn meniscus in my leg. Or a meningus. I can't figure out which fucking one it is, but all I know is that I need a rod in my back and I need a rod in my leg, and I can't afford it, so I'm never gonna get it. I worry about the end times. If shit goes sour, then I'm gonna have to walk around. I'm gonna be dead. I'm gonna be dead within a month. I'm not gonna be able to run around like everybody else. That's why I'm trying to make the most of this civilized lifestyle that we have. I know I'm not going to make it. I can't even stand up for an hour and a half without collapsing. It sucks. I still work. The reason why I can do work is because I'm on this bike here and I can sit on this seat. So I can sit down while I'm riding to the destination and do DoorDash. That's the only reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing. Otherwise, I can't do a landscaping job anymore. I can't do these active jobs. Everything that I do has to be slow and drawn out. It sucks, dude. Um, that's ahistorical. Jews weren't very influential in the 7th century Arabia. Interesting. Somebody says, read The Culture of Critique by Kevin McDonald also, and From Yahweh to Zion. I keep hearing the word Zionist. I'm going to confirm what the hell that actually means. I believe it means just like civilized society. Let's see. Zionist definition. I really look at all that as just terminology. It really doesn't matter at the end of the day. That's all history. A Zionist is a person who supports Zionism, the movement for a self-determined and statehood of the Jewish people in their ancestral homeland, which corresponds to the historical land of Israel. What the hell is wrong with that? They're nationalist? That's nationalism. So? Self-determined and statehood? So? Are you trying to tell them that they don't belong in their home? Like, what are you trying to say, dude? You're saying Zionists are bad because they want to do their own thing and... Come on, bro. What's wrong with a Zionist? As far as I can see, there's nothing wrong with it. By definition. So let's read it further. The movement originated in the late 19th century Europe as a response to growing anti-Semitism, seeking to reestablish a sovereign Jewish nation. What's wrong with that? While Zionists universally agree on the right of the State of Israel to exist, the movement encompasses a wide variety of political, religious, and cultural perspectives. For a detailed look on the ideology, you can explore Britannica Zionism is overview. Because Zionism covers a wide spectrum of thought, being a Zionist can mean many things to different people. Diverse ideologies. Zionism includes everything from socialist labor movements to liberal, religious, and revisionist viewpoints. Consequently, there is often rigorous debate among Zionists about Israel governance, borders, and domestic policies. Non-Jewish Zionists, while primarily a Jewish movement, support also comes from non-Jews. For example, many Christians, particularly in the US, identify as Christian Zionists based on biblical and theological ties to the region. There's nothing wrong with nationalism. That's what it looks like to me. Let's see. Christians and Muslims using their own books, blah blah blah. Hey, I wanna give some kind of validity to what Vivek Tay is saying. Some people do pervert the book and they use Christianity as an excuse to get away with a lot of things. That is true, but that's non-Christian. What I'm saying is that read the book, uphold and believe the 10 commandments are true. That's all you have to do. You know what I mean? In that, you're minding your own business. Just because somebody's selfish, like, bro, how about this, Vivek Tay? You want to hate Zionism. I want to ask you, are you well off, sir? Do you have $100,000 sitting in your bank account? I want to hear it. I want to have a one-on-one with Vivek Tay right now. Right in the comments. Tell me, are you well off? Do you have a home? Do you own a home? Do you have disposable equity? I want to see a response to that. I'm better off than you. You have a bed sheet. Okay, so if you're better off than me and you don't like Zionists because, well, Zionism is basically selfishness, then why don't you act upon what you preach? Help a ninja out. You got my GoFundMe, right? Maybe you've been following me for a little bit. You want to donate? You want to help me out? You want to be not selfish? You want to accept me into your home? Probably not. So why the fuck do you care if somebody's Zionist? Somebody wants to have their home and own it and be in it. And what's wrong with being nationalist? Yeah, that's all he's doing. That's what it seems like to me. Somebody, dude loves Islam. He only recites Islam or Muslim propaganda. Yeah, that's what it seems like to me. Cope harder. He didn't have a true response to that. Somebody said the biggest lobby that lines all of our politicians' pockets is AIPAC, the literal Jewish Zionist lobby representing a foreign nation. I would say that's better than the data brokers. I would say that's better than the money traders, the people pumping and dumping on a token. I would say that that's a little bit more respectful if they're doing it through PACs and things like that. Things with conviction behind their beliefs. They're not doing it in the shadows. The reason why you attack them so much is because they're doing it out in the open. Yeah, that's a good point. Don't engage with the Reddit or Discord mods in the chat. You know, and here's the thing is that nobody's perfect, but god damn, man, these people are creeps, dude. It's insane. They're coming out of the shadows. Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. What he just said was that's perfect. Qatar pays more U.S. politicians than Israel has anything to do with. They also pay our colleges. They also come over and use our colleges. Oh, Americans are so dumb. Chinese are so smart. But they come over here to get educated. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure a Chinese person is just automatically smarter than an American. Yep. They stole our technology, but somehow Chinese are just automatically smart. Yeah, okay. You know, the Chinese, do you know about the Xinjiang province where they've got a bunch of Muslims held up in concentration camps? Did you know about that? Did you know there's true oppression going on in today's society? It was exposed on Mulan when they did like the real life version of Mulan. They literally visited a slave camp with Muslims. They're prosecuting Muslims for having a religion. And have you yelled out about that? Forced organ harvesting of the Falun Gong? Probably. Have you looked into any of that? Oh, wow, I was disconnected. Once again, you know, I'm getting DOS attacked or whatever. If you guys didn't hear it because the thing disconnected, I want to ask the whole chat, did you know that there are Muslims in China that are being put into concentration camps and used for their labor? When are you going to yell out about that, Muslims? When are you going to yell about China doing that? It's well known. It was exposed in Mulan, a popularized movie. When are you going to talk about that? No, you're not going to talk about that because you won't talk against China. Here's the thing about reparations and stuff. Israel is apparently constantly attacked. At this point, I'm seeing more of an attack on Israelis than any other demographic. What's wrong with living in mud huts? India lives in mud huts. Pakistan does. There's a lot of these Middle Eastern nations. This dude, Vivek Tay, just insulted the entire Middle East by trying to insult Israel. What a retard. You just insulted everybody in Africa. You just insulted tons of South Chinese, Vietnamese, That's insane. Oh my god, he just said it again. Go live in a mud hut then. But dude, that's literally the entire Middle East. That's all over the world. There's people living in mud huts everywhere. I make jokes about it. I made a bad joke about Venezuela, to be honest. I said mud brick engineers. I mean, that was pretty mean, and that was actually evil to a point, you know. And like I said, I'm not perfect, but tens of thousands of people were trapped under that rubble, and they try to say tens of thousands of people are missing. Those people are gone. The saddest thing that has happened in our recent history. Tens of thousands of people's lives just got ended because they decided to live in a mud building. They didn't live in the mud hut. I think the mud hut would be a safer choice than the mud building. But then you look in the mirror and see something that belongs in a zoo. Dude, look at this. Look at this kind of like nasty behavior. You can see that this Vivek person is absolutely hateful. You're not trying to have a real conversation. How do we fix things? Vivek, how do we fix things? Bring up a conversation about fixing things. One way, I'll tell you what we can do to fix things. See this little piece of scrap leather? I can turn this into something that somebody wants. I can turn this into something that can be used to manufacture something else and build a supply chain. I have answers. I have a solution. What is your solution, Vivek? Please tell me. Now it's on the just the bombastic insults. I can reach these people. I know, Matita, what I forget your name. He's seeing this and Matityahu, you're seeing this right now and your brain is hurting because you're like, why is he responding to these people? It's because they can be saved. They're possessed. That's the problem. They're not demons. Nobody can be a demon. Technically Satan isn't real, but the lie is real, and you can identify it with a word, and we use Satan to describe the lie. There is no entity known as Satan, but there is the lie. Give me 1 second. I got to readjust. Your knowledge of history is lower than a 15-year-old kid's. I doubt it, especially in today's society. No offense to the next generation. I think beta generation is going to own the world. Alpha and beta generation is going to rule the world. They're going to fix everything. They have gained more knowledge from wise people than anyone else. The ones that actually paid attention. The general population of their generation isn't paying attention. But the ones that have been paying attention, they have been jam-packed with information. If I feel like I've gained a lot of information by obsessively watching documentary after documentary, news, politics, and all that, imagine what an alpha generation has come across. I haven't had the pleasure to speak with an alpha gen that actually has done any research. So I haven't had the pleasure of doing that. But I bet that they know a lot of stuff. Some of them do. This guy looks like William Dafoe. I have no idea who that is, but I laugh when people said I look like somebody else. Hey man, do you believe Jesus is God? No, I believe that Jesus is the depiction of God. So you could say that in a way Jesus is God, but Jesus was a human being that existed at one point, practicing the word of God. But he didn't know that that's what he was practicing specifically, probably. He launched a new movement known as Christianity on the back of the Old Testament. Yeah, that was a nasty little insult Vivek made. That's like just an insult, dude. Just pay no mind to that. The dude has problems. You need to see a psychologist, man. My knowledge is that we're going extinct. Yeah, we are, and but um, the problem is that we've been too liberal. And I'll tell you one thing. I use this is gonna sound crazy, but about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I used to believe that prostitution should be legalized and regulated. And then I saw the unintended consequence of Black Lives Matter also agreeing with that prostitution should be legal. Sex work is work too. That's what their message is. Little did I know that they were behind the scenes grabbing these chicks and enslaving them, pimping them out, but also turning them into slaves. So Black Lives Matter is behind a lot of the prostitution that is occurring today. That's why Black Lives Matter took out Charlie Kirk, made it look like Israel, and that's what I exposed 2 live streams ago, if not 3 live streams ago. So that's what actually happened. Black Lives Matter put the hit out on Charlie Kirk. That's what happened. And they tried to make it look like it was Israel. And they also, if it wasn't Israel, then it would be the transgender community because, oh, Charlie said something mean about the transgenders. And then he got hit. No, he was saying other things that were more prominent that I didn't agree with. And this is going to be the thing that, if you are a Jew, then you don't see this the same way as I do. When people say a certain demographic of people are committing all of the crimes, that's not genuine. You shouldn't say it like that. That's borderline racist, and that's what a lot of these commentators were saying. That's why Black Lives Matter put the hit out on Charlie Kirk. And it was in the form of the transgender community. The transgender community was like, yes, we will obey. Yes, sir. And that's what happened. Black Lives Matter owns LGBT. Somebody said, if Jesus is God and God knows everything, how come Jesus didn't know the last hour? That means he can't be God. That's what I said. He's a human being. He wasn't perfect. But he spoke with the words of God, and it was just simply truth. He exposed the money traders using a ceiling fan, but says a mud hut would be better. No, I'm not living in a multi-story apartment complex. You know that you're allowed to be a conservative, right? I am non-party affiliate. I am neither side. Why? Conservatives, let's not help anybody at all. Democrats, let's help everyone except for the people that we don't like, which is pretty much like 90% of the population. It looks like I was disconnected. It's for everybody. That's why he didn't put everyone into freaking jail at this point. There's a lot of people that need to be thrown in there. Trump isn't conservative or Democrat. He's a non-politic. No income tax. That should be a both sides thing. But did you know? Democrats, they want higher taxes so they can take more of your money. But wait a second, you're saying that all the rich billionaires and the government is taking everything from you, but who's saying we should have no tax on tips? Who's saying that we should get rid of the income tax? Trump. That's right. Do your research. One of the things that he did in 2016 that was a big deal, he took OSHA out of, like, it was going to be mandated that OSHA would be on every single job site. That means any little thing that's out of place, you get a $10,000 fine if there's a single, just a little dent in the extension cord. If there's a ladder that's sitting upwards on the side of a wall because somebody is going to go back to that spot, work there later, maybe in 5 minutes. OSHA comes by, sees that, $3,000 fine. Trump stopped that shit. Trump tore down the walls of regulation so that we can build together. And that's what we need to do. We need to build. I don't know what I can possibly do, but I know I can keep continuing to spread a message. So OSHA, mandating it is not a good thing. However, having it existent is a good thing. Just to have OSHA around. I was OSHA certified in high school, so I learned the rules of OSHA when I was in high school. I got a little card that showed that I was OSHA certified. Basically, what they wanted to do was make OSHA mandatory on every single job site. It should be optional. And imagine if a job site is OSHA certified, that could be like a nice little label for a company. When we do our jobs, we not only get the permits, but we also get OSHA on duty. So it's going to be a safe job, it's going to get done right, and nobody's going to get hurt in the process. That would be a great pitch for any company. Therefore, if you're let me look at what he said up above. From the Bible is what your answer is. Yeah, don't let these people ever dig under your skin emotionally. I got rid of my ego a long time ago, so I don't really feel the emotional swings that they're trying to inject here. So even if like you got to get out of your emotions basically and just continue to think logically, and I appreciate everybody's attempts to put real valid information down. It's perfect. It was created by the federal government, so it's like the DEA. It has broad and penetrating authority because it's important. Well, the DEA says weed should be illegal, so I don't agree with that. I think weed should be legal, regulated but legal. So that's where we may part opinions, part on opinions, because I believe that weed can be beneficial to many people. I smoke weed. I do not drink. Ever since I stopped drinking, my brain, like, it lost its fuzziness. Lately, I've been fuzzy because of all the stress I'm under. Learn to type and formulate clear questions. It takes time, but I believe in you. Who said I didn't say you're a racist? When did I say you're a racist? God, man, you and your feelings, huh? Do you think that logic can prove things? Right? Logic can prove things because it's all in logic. It's all based in logic. That's the only truth. Logic is truth. Support is for Israel is plumbing, by the way. Strait still closed, but Saudi Arabia is going to build a new port and bypassed. They're going to bypass Iran. Iran's going to have no effect. I mean, Saudi Arabia has had enough of Iran. You have to see these countries like know what perspective they're coming from. Qatar, they've had enough. These Middle Eastern countries have had enough of Iran being assholes. YouTuber lives are hilarious. People from all across the globe sat here together, all of us arguing with this guy in the background talking. Let's get some drinks, everyone. What even is your question? I answered your initial one. They don't really have a question. They just want to refute things and cause chaos, and it's just little demons, demon possessed heads. Is Vivek Tay a chick? Somebody said they heard that they're Gen Alpha. They're Gen Alpha. They're like what, 15? So you really shouldn't even be on the internet. I think if you're under 16, you shouldn't be on the internet at all. Unfortunately, because it's too dangerous out here. My nose hit the bar before I could order a drink. Oh my god. So that's a 15-year-old. They haven't actually lived any experienced life, and they don't understand God from a personal perspective yet. Vivek Tay, one day you're going to find out the truth, and it's going to hit you the same way that it hit me. I refuted the requirement of believing in a God in order to do the right things until I got smacked with reality. And then I realized I was doing most of the things right. God saved me because I had been doing pretty much everything mostly right, not perfect, and that's why I didn't die. And I realized that, and that's what it was more of like a suggestive transition. It was like this wasn't working over here, but that worked instead. And then I was like, but I don't really need to follow what worked. Let's try it myself. I'm God. And then it didn't work out. So that's when I got hit with the reality. It was a back and forth, back and forth. Maybe it's true, maybe it's not. And then I got smacked with reality. You can do everything right. You can ride that wave of success for only so long before God smacks you in the face and he's like, get the fuck up. You know? Well, the chat here is full of just actual trolls. What they're doing is they're just like hype hype training. They're on the hype train. So whatever is cool to them today is what they're following. What used to be cool is Cannibal Corpse and Slayer. You know, like Generation X, their minds went to the gutter, man. Their minds went into a very dark place. The music that they grew up listening to was deadly. You know, I used to listen to like ICP, Twisted. I went to a Twisted concert. Um, I used to listen to that kind of music, and it was like I could still like rap with the songs, the old songs. But I didn't allow my brain to go to full mush. I still wanted to believe in something above me. And what I believed is that juggalos in general would have like some kind of ideology, like Dark Lotus, or we got like some kind of religion. Um, juggalos was kind of like a religion being built, yet it was so decentralized and so out of control that they could never establish anything of value. So instead, you had just a bunch of crooks and crazy people that weren't trying to actually find peace in the way that we just have some fun. Like you got Blaze Your Dead Homie that's like he's got lyrics that are like, "Oh, I'm gonna jack your car and take your shit." Like it was all in jest. They weren't actually doing that shit. And when I was like listening to Blaze's new stuff, I literally left a comment. I'm like, "Bro, your shit went to hell because you stopped being hungry. You got well fed and you lost that edge." I didn't get a response, but I'm sure at that point the guy actually understood that, yeah, that's kind of where everybody went. They all stopped being hungry. And that's why the Juggalo movement kind of has died since then. The Juggalo movement has just turned into a bunch of drunk carnival carnies. That's all it's turned into. It used to be a bunch of young people like all hopped up like, hell yeah, let's all Juggalo family, and that's what it used to be. But then at some point they all just got fed really well, and then they wanted more and they started robbing people and each other, and it became a decentralized just group of thugs. So it wasn't a thug as in, hey man, we're cool, we be thugging, we be hustling out here. It was a, no, I'm a literal thug, I'm gonna steal your shit. That's what literally, you know what I mean? Like that's what it turned into. So a lot of movements in today's society have been there and they corrupted minds, and it's because you had a bunch of idiots involved and you didn't have anybody value actually at the head of it. It got corrupted. Everything's been corrupted. Black Lives Matter got corrupted. It used to be a movement of, we want to see police reform. We want to see money go into people's pockets where they can actually get the tools that they need to get out of the city. And it wasn't supposed to be just about black people. It was supposed to be about whites and blacks and Asians and whoever is stuck in the inner city. Generally, Asians aren't really stuck there, but this these comments are silly. Like, why are you fighting with somebody from Israel? Like, aren't they just like not really that influential if you just do your own thing? They wouldn't be influential over your life if you just built your own communities. Look at what the Jews did. They built their own community. They don't care about what you're doing. They're just like, get out of my mosque if you don't believe in what we believe in. You're hating a group for being selfish. If you hate a group for being selfish, for being Zionist, well, take in a homeless person. Give them half your paycheck. Stop being selfish yourself. Act upon what you preach. Do I like mass surveillance? I don't like the idea of it, but that's what's coming. That's what needs to happen, unfortunately. That's kind of what we're heading into, anyways. We might as well embrace it. That's why I say we need mass surveillance. It's because we have to embrace it. Karma to report people to police. Um, Here's the thing. I haven't reported anything besides somebody tried to swerve me off the road and I chased them down and I offered to fight him. And I was right in his face. He got out of his vehicle. We're about to fight. And then I told him, I was like, dude, you smell like you're fucking drunk, man. And I think at that point he realized that I knew a little bit more and I was more astute than he was. And he was not ready for that fight. So he jumped back into his vehicle and ran away. After the fact, normally you would think a peaceful group, if they're not looking for any problems, they would just keep going that way. But I saw them turn around. And that is when I turned off my light on my bike. I found a little hidden spot and then I reported it. I reported it as a drunk driver. So I did report that. There was another time where I was threatened and attacked, somebody swinging a fucking golf club at my fucking feet. And then I reported that. That was the 2 times I have ever reported anything to the police. And it was because I felt like my life was threatened. Besides that, no, it's not generally good to go ratting people out. I think people would do better to address the problem and try to find a peaceful solution without the police. You don't really need the police to address these problems. But the only time that I'm ever going to report people to the police is if they're threatening my life. You know what I mean? Make sure I'm blocking the right person here. There we go. Riley, do not make me fucking dump you. That's not a snitch. Somebody that saw somebody turning around ready to come at them when I'm right down the street from my house. I don't know if they saw where I live. I don't know if they, one of them hopped out and they're fucking watching where I'm going. I needed to report that just in case they went and pursued me later. The people tried to run me off the road. They threatened my life. And they didn't want to fight. They ran away. That wasn't snitching. That was protecting me in my life. The second situation, somebody was attacking me, and it was at this house. So, no, I don't agree with snitching on people. That's why I haven't gone to the FBI and reported any of the things that I've seen. Why? Because I think we can come up with a peaceful resolution in all of this. But the police aren't going to fix all the problems. We need to fix the problems together and we need to find a peaceful resolution. I should have bought a gun and defended myself. I don't know. I've never even shot a gun before. I've shot a BB gun. I've shot bow and arrows, but I'm not really a gun holder type of person. I actually shy away from guns. But do I believe that guns should be kind of controlled? I guess. But at the same time, you need something to defend yourself. So I think everybody should be carrying bear mace. And mass surveillance will fix it all anyways, too, at the end of the day. But it's going to be used for good and evil. I'm not really that whole, yeah, guns. But what I am, like, you should have the right to defend yourself. And if somebody's using a gun against you, you're gonna need a gun to begin with. I think people should be allowed to hold their weapons. Just don't use them and uh, illegally. I know, right? I probably should buy one. Instead, I have a monkey's paw. So if somebody gets within like 4 feet of me, this is going right to somebody's fucking head. It's a fucking monkey's paw. Whoops. I didn't mean to make that noise. But that's the best weapon that I can come up with is a monkey's paw. I could throw the fucking thing. Whip it at somebody's head, knock them out real quick. That's what I carry around. The tiny hat coin clippers are responsible for all the world's problems. No, that's crazy. That's crazy. Coin clipper, dude. That's the fucking that's literally like Muslims and shit. What are you talking about? Coin clippers, dude. Do you think the Rothschilds would have been clipping their own coins? No. No, I've never been to jail. No, thankfully. That's why I can do DoorDash, because I have a clean record, thankfully. Thank God. Praise the Lord. Thank you. I know what it is. Don't worry about what we left, or something like that. Technically, coin clipping began in the Middle Ages, Europe. Interesting. Now they're trying to come at me from a different perspective. They're like, "Why do you love Jews so much?" At this point, I love Jews because what the fuck, man? Look at how much you guys are attacking them. You know what I mean? If I see somebody getting attacked, I want to be on their side. I want to protect the people getting attacked the most. Like, why are you attacking them? Like, try to find some kind of common goal with each other. Try to find peace. Why do you keep attacking each other? And it's not even attacking each other. You look at what these Jewish people are saying, that it doesn't seem like they're really insulting you in any way. What they are saying once in a while, calling you brain dead because you're not trying to find a middle ground with them. Before that, he was just reciting the Bible, and you were like, oh, heresy. Dude, calm down. Everyone clipped coins. I know, right? Yeah, that was kind of like an everybody thing, but I could imagine that the most impoverished people, the people that were outside of Europe, even the Gallic tribes, would want to clip the coins. So it wasn't just a this or that. Coin clippers. It's just funny that people want to come up with these terms for people. It's like, dude. But if you are Jewish, understand that they're trying to use specific terminology and like they're trying to hit you emotionally. Don't let them affect you. Continue to use your logic above it. What I'm doing is I'm letting them think that they're affecting me emotionally so that I can have a conversation with them. Because that's how you exercise. But if you're not the exorcist, then you shouldn't be doing that. You shouldn't be even responding to them, really. We need to find a solution together. I think building something, making little bags. Like, I might even be Jewish, dude. Like, who comes up with a bag like this? Like, who's gonna go out of their way to make a bag for coins? I literally might be Jewish. So, and in Jewish perspective on both sides, being Jewish, like holding on to your coins and stuff, and the other side, I might even be like ideologically Jewish. I'm not sure. For example, England's Henry VIII period saw coins diluted with copper and dyed to appear silver. Yet they believe Jews were only doing this. No, they're just what they're doing is they're trying to attribute Jewish people to money to make them look like they're thieves. And when at the end of the day, all they did was create currency and they created ideology. They were the first to do it. They were the first to establish an ideology besides the Egyptians, which, I mean, you look at the Egyptians, you know, maybe they had a point, maybe they didn't. But it doesn't matter. We're at where we're at. I'm not sure what the Talmud is now, but you've done a lot of research on that. Do you know anything about coding, Vevicte? What do you know about stocks? What do you know about landscaping? What do you know about roofing? What do you know about concrete work? What do you know about plant growing? Do you know anything outside of this subject of hate Israel? You know about hard labor? You're 15. You don't know about hard labor. You haven't had a real job. Sorry. If you're not working 14 hours a day, day to day, you don't know what hard labor is. Right now, you're awake. It's what time? 4:45 in the morning where I'm at. I don't know what time it is there, but what I'd be doing right now, if I could, if I had the tools, if I had the bike, if I could actually use my bike to go to like go through a drive-through, I would be working right now. What are you doing? You're not working. It doesn't matter if Jews are. All right, apparently now I'm live and I wasn't live for a minute. It doesn't matter if Jews know about hard labor. I'm asking you. Like, you're the one that's like, oh, I hate Jews, I hate Jews. Well, no, the only reason why I haven't been able to work for a couple of days is because my phone, I can't leave anywhere. I'm on a Wi-Fi signal. I can't go anywhere. I'm stuck. I absolutely do work. And I receive zero from the government. Zero. I receive zero assistance. I got a herniated disc in my back, a busted knee, and I can't stand for more than an hour and a half. I should be on disability, but I don't even receive food stamps. I work enough hours to receive food stamps. I don't receive food stamps. I don't receive a dime from the government. You're a kid. If you are 15, supposedly, you are receiving benefits from the government. Your parents are getting tax breaks. And that's what's feeding you. No offense. That's what should happen. Yeah, live, laugh, love. That's what it comes down to. And following Christianity, that's just automatic. Muslims that believe in the same tradition, you're a Christian. You're not a Muslim. I promise. If you believe that you're Muslim and you believe in live, laugh, and love, then you're a Christian. Sorry, man. You're on the wrong side. Work will set you free. That's for sure. Work will keep you moving. That's why I was saying you don't need drugs to come to like terms or come to awareness about what the really is made of, to dig your mind deep into things. You just need to go for a good run and then you need to work. And it's automatic. You can get these endorphins automatically through success and the completion of a task. It doesn't matter what the, people keep saying, oh, ask this person about hard work, hard work. Well, he's here right now and he's witnessing somebody talk, and regardless of what he does as, a tradition or whatever, he's not being a troll. He's not trying to cause problems. He's fine. He's not causing problems. What I'm more concerned with is the trolls that are trying to cause the problems, trying to cause the chaos, sow devastation. And I keep hearing this stuff about Israel, and that's why I'm on the subject. I'm not generally a Jew lover or anything, but right now I feel like I should be defending them considering that they're getting attacked so hard. So if you hate Jews so much, you're doing it a disservice by just attacking the dude. Christianity is about accepting the Trinity. A lot of religions include Christ as a figure, but not like Christians do. And that's I guess that's true. Like I haven't looked into it that from that perspective. When I say that all the religions have some kind of validity to it, I'm coming from the perspective of like a personal perspective. I'm not listening to a book to tell me that. If that's what it says in the book, then it just falls in line with what I believe. And it just proves that my belief system within matches Christianity. It's an inclusive religion, or it should have been. Do you like the motto, work will set you free? Yeah, well, that's already been, it's already been made. You're not saying it for the first time, bro. It's already been said. But slavery was a perversion of work. Perversion. Slavery wasn't supposed to happen. That's why in the Bible you can't take everything literally. You can't say that just because it's in the Bible and it's right. They took a lamb, they ended its life, and they smeared blood all over the walls. You think that's normal? Like that's not what we do. You don't have to do that. You know what I mean? You don't have to do that. There's a lot of atrocities that happen in the Bible that don't need to happen. But it was a story to explain this is what could happen if this other thing happened. It's a manual for life. It's a cause and effect manual. I am just feeding these trolls. It entertains them and me also. I guess so. At least try better than that. What do you mean? He's proving why you hate them. It sounds like you're racist, man. Like you're putting all Jewish people into one basket. I'm sure that there's some open-minded Jewish people out there. You wouldn't consider that? Maybe some Jewish people don't even know the history and they don't care about the history. They just want to live their lives. That's why I don't hate all Muslims. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of Muslims that are basically following a Christian faith and they have no idea. Actually, you are right in a sense. Muslims are more Christian than Christians themselves because they actually follow the teachings of Jesus, unlike you. How so? Let's talk about one of these dudes, Hassan Piker, drinking on freaking Ramadan. I mean, like, what are you talking about? Guy. I've seen a lot of contradictions with what they supposedly believe in. That's what I heard. I guess, didn't Hassan Piker, like, drink on stream while he was on Ramadan or something? Like, come on, guy. I'm not sure if that's 100% true, but that's what I heard. Um, that is like BS, dude. What do you mean people shooting at defenseless 5-year-olds? Dude, let me ask you this. Vevicte, do you believe in abortion? Do you think abortion should be legal? Vade does not want to answer that one. Every time an abortion happens, you're blasting a 0-year-old. You're blasting somebody before they even was born. Abortions are evil. Mm-mm. Mm. The Christian kings claim to be descendants of David. I don't know what that means. It doesn't matter. Somebody said Israel never existed. Jerusalem did. Israel was made by the CIA in 47. Palestine has been on the map way longer. Dude, were they living in that place? Did they all just migrate over to where Israel is today? Or were they already living there? If they were already living there, then that's their home. It is what it is. Can't refute it. Sorry. We got our nations. We're in the modern era. And there's nothing wrong with Zionism as long as you're minding your own. But when you got people causing 9/11 terror attacks, then you got to kind of look into it. You know, that was forced on America and Israel to go after the people that were threatening their existence. I'm not gonna even attempt that. Like I said, my brain's exhausted. I'm barely able to keep up with the comments, but I like to comment, and I'm also trying to exhaust myself so I actually sleep very, very long. I'm probably an undercover Jew. Dude, if I was an undercover Jew, I wouldn't have fucking Kurt. Like, dude, I'd have better than that, you know? Calling Jews like all these rich people and everything. I don't see that they're rich, but apparently that's the case. So if I was Jewish, I would have a lot better stuff than I do right now. But you know what? Let's just say this. How about this? I want to be Jewish, just so you can hate me just as much as them. I'm declaring myself as a Jew today. Hate me. I want you to hate me just as much as you hate Jews. Rome absolutely destroyed Judea, but who the fuck cares, dude? You're talking about something that happened 2,000 years ago. Nobody cares. Like, that's great that you might be touched up on history, but we're kind of here in the modern era right now. We can't really apply history to the now. You know, what we need to find solutions, not bicker. See these water bottles right here? See that? These are thrown into the trash every single day. We can turn these into something. We can actually use these as tools. Has anybody figured out a way that we can mass produce tools out of these water bottles? That would be a good project for a 15-year-old to do. Find a use for this. Not plastiline, not to break it down into a fuel so we burn it. Let's reuse water bottles for something that's useful. Maybe a magnifying glass. I don't freaking know, dude. Just come up with solutions. My solution was this. All right. We got so much leather scraps unused all the time. I started making bags out of scrap. See? It's all scrap leather. So using the scrap on useful items, on useful products, rather than just stupid stuff. Instead of throwing it in the trash, you know? That's a good way to preserve the future. That's a good way to build the supply chain. You guys have to all understand, and this includes Jewish people as well. Everybody wants to hate Jews and everything. Um, everybody needs to begin building this supply chain. And you have to understand that China is trying to control the supply chain. Hence, half of the reason why we're over in Iran doing what we're doing. Half of the reason why we went and did what we did in the Strait of Hormuz is because Iran is causing problems. The other half of it is the world is in competition against China, or actually, China is in competition with the rest of the world to control the supply chain. You want to fight the good fight? Build the supply chain. Agartha? It doesn't matter. All that stuff's like, it's like, okay, great, you studied something. If you study anything, you're going to know everything about it. You diligently study something, you're going to learn everything about it. Congratulations, you did your research, you did your homework. Moving on, what can we do to solve things? Well, here's another thing. Once I learned how electricity, oh my god. Dude. I got a multimeter now. I can start working on this stuff. So you see this? This is a vape. This has a battery. That battery usually goes to waste. Let's reuse these batteries. Let's make these batteries worth something. There's stuff like that that you can do every single day. You can just make the world better by reusing stuff, recycling. I believe recycling is a really good thing. I think that we should stop using plastic products because of the microplastics. And we should make more metallic things that are reusable. Leather, stuff that actually stands the test of time. Strait still closed, Hezbollah still active. It won't matter once Saudi Arabia builds their new port. It's not going to matter. Saudi Arabia is bypassing the Strait of Hormuz by building a new port. Go look it up. I hate one-time disposable vapes with screens and displays. Shit, it should be illegal. Yeah, but it's out there. It's there. I think what should be illegal is specifically HHC, which is a poison rather than an actual substance that you want to consume. They put HHC in these cannabinoid pens, and it's a poison. So if you guys ever, like, if you used to be a weed smoker or something, and you're like, ah, yeah, I want to find a vape, and I guess I'm going to try a cannabinoid in some way, in some form, stay away from HHC. It will make you retarded. Absolutely wiping the floor with these slimy gremlins. They are gremlins. That's right. And it's sad that I have to call them that. Jews are on top, can't deny that. How so? Who in the hell is waving a Jewish flag like, hell yeah, man, this is the coolest thing to do? They're apparently the most hated people on the planet. Everybody hates them. I want to be on their side because you hate them so much. I want to be hated that much. I love to be hated. I've been hated so long that it's just like it's part of my MO. It's like it's what I want. It's a meme. It's not that deep. Um, oh, it's one of these fools. It's one of these people that are like, I hate Jews so much that I'm gonna put something really weird on my profile. Cringe. South Asian. There's certain Asia, the Asiatic regions. Interesting topic. I don't want to get into the Asian question, but I love Japan. The Japanese people, very highly respectable people. You know, after World War II, yeah, we laid devastation to them, but not only did they agree with demilitarizing, but they continued to do trade and they took our influence. question to be had. I believe that Japan is the greatest country over there. And even after we took out a bunch of people in their country, they not only agreed to militarize, but they also took our culture and made it their own. They're an amazing people. They want peace, and their arts, their craftsmanship is truly astounding. China wishes they could be as good as Japan. Welcome, welcome, Tosin. Yeah, I appreciate that. Um, the Philippines, full of a lot of people that actually respect tradition. They respect hard. They hold something against the Western world to a certain degree, but they still will have a conversation. They'll express their grief, but they'll still communicate. Great people in the Philippines. China wishes they could be as good as the Philippines. They wish they could be as crafty as the Japanese. China is jealous about a lot of people. That's why they've stolen a lot of people's technology. They're jealous of India's ability to procreate and to create new humans so quickly. In such a undeveloped country for being so popular. Oh, look at us, we're so cool. China probably doesn't say anything about Israel because they don't know what to say. They're probably the ones that are causing these troll campaigns against them. But China is in Africa, is in South America, is in America, is in Europe, is everywhere, trying to take over. Nobody talks about how China has millions of Muslims thrown into concentration camps in Xinjiang, the Xinjiang province. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about donated organs from. There's only like 1,000 prisoners or something that die a day or die a year in China, but supposedly they're getting their organs from prisoners that were given the death penalty. Okay. You don't get 50,000 organs in a year on 1,000 prisoners. Where are these organs coming from? Well, if you go on to Valuetainment, you have Patrick Bet Davis. David, he made a video with a Facebook moderator about 4 years ago, or even up to 5 years ago, and it explains in one part of it. It's a very okay. Stop fucking with my connection, assholes. Be prepared. Viewer discretion is advised. Don't watch it. But then again, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, I'm sure that they've seen shit before. Worse stuff than I've seen. 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, I'm sure that they've seen shit before. Worse stuff than I've seen. Go watch the video. Find the part where these moderators had to view videos of forced organ harvesting. Like, there's all kinds of stuff that's going on that people ain't talking about. But you're mad at Israel for just simply having money, for simply having influence. Who cares? Just look around. Stuff being way worse than what Israel's doing. And they're happening in today's society. You got drug cartels in South America laundering money into China. And the reason why is because in China, you're not allowed to move your money out of China without the permission from the government. And you're not allowed to move over, I think it's $50,000 per year. So they use South America to launder US dollars into their country, and they can trade in US dollars, and they can bypass this whole Chinese restriction. Look around you. There's way worse stuff going on than, oh, Israel's selfish. There's a lot more going on than just that. I would avert your eyes to the actual issues. Give me a moment while I rip this vape. Give me just about 30 seconds to a minute, because that's how long it takes me to rip a vape, hold it, and then blow it out. Holy shit. All right. Welcome. And thank you. Thank you for the comment. Thank you for the compliment. But yeah, I just want to see everybody get along. And in order to get along, we need to get back to the basics. And it was just as simple as making trade with each other. We used to run the supply chain, not Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos has too much to do, man. Like, he doesn't want to have to deal with all that shit. He can't even keep bicycle tires stocked. Listen, Vavicte, I understand your concern, and I want to address your concern. Here's the thing. Okay, Zionism, selfishness. Okay, that's one thing. But they're minding their own business. As far as you know, they're minding their own business. Just stop attacking them. They wouldn't have a problem with you if you didn't attack them. Okay, it wouldn't be a problem to you if you didn't pay attention to it. Like, take your own self with your trolling behavior and do the same. Like, if you feel that Jews or some kind of trolls, ignore them. Stop thinking about them. Stop obsessing about them. The fact that you're obsessing about them makes me want to defend them even harder. They must be good people. Like, the people that are being attacked the hardest are going to be the ones that I want to defend. Like, we shouldn't be attacking each other. It doesn't matter what they stand for. Look, the Iranian people are not being attacked. What Trent for was the regime, was the radar system, was the systems, was the missile the silos with weapons. That's what he was going for. When he went after that island, Karg Island, he wasn't trying to destroy the whole, finish the job, I guess. But you know, have a job, to have to work 8 hours a day or more every single day to be able to afford your place to live. You haven't had to deal with that yet, okay? There's reasons why people hold on to their money. There's reasons why people hold on to their community. There's reasons why they stay exclusive in a lot of cases, but they still allow you to walk around the streets. You know what I mean? They're not like they ask if you're Jewish or something, or you're not a Jew, then get out of our streets. They don't do any of that. You saw Tyler Oliveira. Yeah, they did try or whatever, but you know, they did it as like a, hey, get away from me. You're harassing me. If you're harassing somebody, then you're harassing someone. You're being a problem. But you haven't had to deal with having to work every single day to afford your place, and if you don't, then you end up in the woods. Okay? You still got parents. You still got the government that will take care of you. You get orphaned, but you get to go to an orphanage, okay? There's a reason why people stay exclusive, and you have to understand, you have to respect, but you can't attack them. Instead, you need to build your own community. You can do what just build your own community. And you can be exclusive too or whatever, and that's pretty identify as liberals. They're fucking retarded. They're not even liberal. They identify as liberal and they're not even liberal, okay? Go do what they're doing, being selfish at the worst. That's when I know that somebody is a troll, is because if you're attacking somebody that's not trying to harm you, then you're being a troll. And whether or not you know it, it's wrong to do. What you're doing is wrong. Stop attacking them. Learn to build with them. If you're not obsessed with them, then you would try to find a way to not pay attention to them. You wouldn't be obsessed with information about them. You've studied them more than you've actually studied other things. You don't know how to do landscaping. You don't know how to do roofing. You don't know how to lay the ground for a pool deck and then put concrete in the ground. You don't know these other things, man. Like, go and expand your mind. But I understand your concern, and you're like, well, if they're keeping all the money, there's no money for me. No, absolutely is. But the people who have the money for you, you're not doing anything with them yet. You're 15. And if you're a chick, I guarantee there's tons of chicks your age that are all being pimped out, and that's how they're getting their money. That's why you're pissed. Get pissed at the fuckers that are pimping them out. That ain't Jews. Have you seen a Jew? They got the curls, bro. Nobody wants to, you know what I mean? Like, they're doing their own thing. Respect what they're doing. Respect their exclusivity. Respect that. Christians are inclusive. Jews are not really that inclusive, and for a good reason. Let them be. Stop getting mad at them. Stop being obsessed about them. I feel like somebody comment and just put a period or something. Just comment something so I know that I'm actually live right now. Because I feel like my thing just got cut out. Oh, I think it did get cut out. Give me a second. I'll be right back. If you guys can still see this, give me a second. I'm gonna close the app, reopen it. All right. Perfect. So I think I'm live. Am I live? All right. Yeah, all right. It's working now. Do you want to know who the actual far right is? It's these assholes that are posing as Trump supporters. They don't actually exist. They're on your side. They're in your chat, friendly with you, and then on the other side, they're posing as a Trump supporter. They're not actual real Trump supporters. I got hacked by a fake Trump supporter. Literally. People fake Jew supporting. There's people with an Israeli flag in the chat that are not actually supporting Israel. There's psyops everywhere. That's who's fucking with your head to make you mad at Jews, is people in your own group posing as Jews, posing as Trump supporters. These Trump supporters don't hate transgenders. Trump supporters hate people that want to push changing your gender as a child. Like tell me, you're 15. Do you agree with somebody your age choosing to change their gender? Do you think that they know better, that they've fully truly felt it within themselves as a good decision to change their gender? Do you truly believe that? Vevicte? I am addressing you, Vevicte. I want you to answer. Do you think that that's okay? A 15-year-old should be able to change their gender by removing their ability to be that gender anymore? Do you think that that's okay? Well, Trump supporters don't think that that's okay. We don't think that if you're under 18 that you should be changing your gender. You haven't become an adult yet to know that that's what you want. Real Trump supporters, It's okay if you're transgender, man. You can do your thing, but we want you to be an actual adult before you do it. We don't want a child to be given no choice later if they want to be, if they want to do that later. It's a travesty. It's a crime to allow a child to change their gender. That's what Trump supporters are against. True Trump supporters. Nobody cares if you're transgender. It's okay. You want to do your thing. You know, just don't go into the little girl's restroom, okay? It's not a joke. It's not an insult. It's we just want our women safe. That's all it is. Trump supporters don't hate transgenders. They don't even care. That's not a conversation that we have. That's a notion built by people that are in your own group and trying to mess with your heads, trying to make you guys think that there's that much hate in the world so that you begin to hate. You do your thing, man. That's what it's all about. That's America. That's Christianity. You do your thing. But when you're in our house, don't spit on the walls. It's not hard. If you want to marry the people within our community, or if you want to do physical things with people in our community, marry them first. We don't trust it if you're not committed to them first. It's not hard. Don't end children's lives before they even begin. Don't abort your child for no reason. If somebody is trying to have a child with you and they do it against your will, that's the exception. You know, they physically harmed you. They physically robbed you. That's the exception. That's when you can get an abortion. If you were something bad happened to you like that, somebody forced themselves upon you. But don't abort children before they even get the chance to decide whether or not they should be alive. Well, I mean, hey, later, dude, I'm gonna still have this conversation because I'm very interested in maybe converting people to common sense. Like, look at what this person's saying. They're just going off on a rant about like an obsession. It's terrible, and it's okay. Like, I'm not gonna hate you for having an obsession. Sometimes we go off the rails in the wrong direction. But you have to find yourself back here, Victe. Find yourself in reality. It's not all about that. Whatever the hell you're talking about, I'm not even keeping up with it anymore. I'm listening to the people that like are actually putting information into the chat, but like at the same time I'm not really seeing very much of that. But yeah, so stop imagining Trump supporters as like some kind of group of people that are just hateful against people. Like that we don't hold hate. We want to make America great again. If we really hated you, then wouldn't we have like our message as make white people great again or something? It wouldn't be about America, you know, like we're trying to make the people that are here have a good life. How do you do that? You need to bolster the businesses. You need to pull down regulations. You need to, you gotta, there's things that you gotta do, and you gotta get a strong man in there to do it. You know, you had Kamala in there. She could have fixed everything. She could have convinced Joe Biden to do no tax on tips while she was in office. She could have done that. It takes a strong, motivated man to get things done. And the woman is there to support that strong man and be that strong woman. And you can walk alongside him just as Melania Trump does. But at the end of the day, all these, there's a lot of people that think that like Trump supporters are like so hateful and stuff. What it really is just ignorant people. There's people that are ignorant that support Trump that'll say stupid shit party. And they'll say stupid shit in a chat just to hype you up and get you mad. All right? Those people are freaking assholes. Trump doesn't support assholes. He's supporting being blunt. So when he made those tweets, he was simply being blunt. He was saying it as it is. How is he gay? Bro, this dude is mad that Trump is such a star. I supported Trump before he even started running for president in the way that I wanted those policies. The policies that he was fighting for, that's what I wanted. 2020, I was a little bit, I don't know, because like death penalty just for, you didn't even touch anyone. Like, if you're raping somebody, if you're molesting people, you deserve a serious consequence. But if you're just like mentally over here, or your interest is in a different place, you'd be like death penalty. Make any sense to me, because it was like you can't thought control people. You can't thought police people. When you're doing things online, these are all thoughts. This is like all fake, a fake environment at the end of the day. You know what I mean? So there were certain things that I didn't agree with. What was it? Putting homeless people into like mental institutes. That was another thing that I think he was talking about. There was things that were just like, wait a second here. Chill the fuck out. When you hear him talk at first, you hear the bombastic side of it. And then you listen to him further, and what he really means is something that's like more middle ground. So he's a more reasonable person than you think, but he speaks in a bombastic tone. If that makes sense. You're 15, Vay. Once you have grown up, you'll see the truth. And it's going to be kind of too late. And that's why, like, in general, I think females need to get off of the porch, step away from the podium. Us dudes learn leather into something that's useful. Okay? Turn metal. We don't have that. Be able to manufacture this yourself. I made this by hand. Okay? Live after another DDoS attack. I'm telling y'all, the more I get attacked like this, the more I know I'm on target. So we need to learn how to make this kind of stuff. We gotta turn scrap into treasure. Okay? Make this out of a piece of wire. Scrap wire. Do things like turning this into something. I don't know, maybe a USB holder or like a keychain or something, but basically using scrap to make something of use. Learning how to make a water bladder. Learning how to use pine tar. Learning how to survive, because you have to understand this internet shit, it's flying off into the wind. Like all of this studying that you're doing to be like a hype train and stuff, that's going to be irrelevant in a couple of years when we do not have the internet anymore. And the church is in charge at that point, by the way. So understand, everything hating right now is going to be in control of you in the near future. And it's because you don't want to get along with people. So you're going to usher in the unintended consequence of those people that you don't like being in charge of you. This person, Vey Victe, is trying to twist it to where she's trying to say that Jewish people are actually trying to break the border. An exclusive religion wouldn't be trying to break the border down. That's literally against Zionism. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, with all due respect, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, look at the definition of Zionism. It's statehood. It's nationalism. They wouldn't want to break down the border. I doubt that Jewish NGOs are doing it. It's people posing as Jewish people in their NGOs. That's what's going on, and that just really blew the lid off of it, really. So now I know who to go after. The people you just described are the enemy, but they're not Jewish. They're fake Jewish. And you just blew the lid off of it. Holy shit. No, that's Iran. That's Iran. That's not Israel. It's literally in the rule book for Iran. The Gaddafi, I think it was, what he said was that he was going to flood Europe with African migrants. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Gaddafi or something. Wasn't he like the head of Egypt? Or like Iraq or something? Or one of the. But that's what was actually said. So that's in their rule book. Are you saying that Iran and Israel at the exact same time have the same rule book? You see how contradictory the thought is? Yeah, so what country was Gaddafi in? I thought that was Egypt, right? He's one of these Muslim countries. He's one of these Middle Eastern countries that doesn't like Israel. So you're telling me Egypt and Israel are on the same freaking page, like they're on the same team, but they hate each other? So is Libya like friendly with Israel? I don't think Libya is actually friendly with Israel, are they? Yeah, I know you said that, and these are not actual Jews. These Gaddafi was Libya. He didn't say Iran would flood us. Gaddafi was keeping African migrants from migrating through Libya, and Zionists said killed him. Now, what's the proof behind that, though? It was probably not even Zionists. Well, show me a statement that Israel um, wanted Gaddafi taken out. Show me a statement. That's very interesting because I haven't looked into the details of this, and this is very relevant. So, change my mind. What does Libya and Gaddafi have to do with the statement I made? You said that Jews are specifically through NGOs trying to flood the West with migrants. Whoever is flooding the West with migrants is the enemy. when I'm sitting here realizing that there are fake Trump supporters and fake Israel supporters, there's also a deeper enemy that is against Israel, that is posing as Israel. I've already said that. I said that earlier in this conversation in a couple lives ago. So these people are out in the open. They say that they're Jewish. They say that they're NGOs and stuff, but they are not actually Jewish. They are shooting themselves in the foot, but it's not really themselves because they're just shooting Israel in the foot. So as you can see, if you put math together, if you do the math, the ones running the NGOs that are trying to flood Europe and America are not Jews, but they are posing as Jews, and they're the root of the problem. What they're claiming, Mati Yahoo, what they're claiming is that somehow Jewish identified people are trying to flood the West with migrants. But if that was the case, Israel is the West. Why would they be flooding their own country? It doesn't add up. The math, it doesn't add up. So they sit at the shores of Greece and help illegal Syrians and other migrants in. Hart-Celler Act. Oh, my other phone, I think it died. Or no, I turned it off. That's right. Because I couldn't get it to connect. Israid. I'm going to be looking at that in Hart-Celler. But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, these are acts and all that. Unless they are declaring that, hey, we're going to flood the West with people. A country doesn't speak for all of its people. Like the nation, just because it's a name doesn't mean it automatically speaks for every person in that country and the general perspective of that country. There could be little moles sitting in Israel causing these things to happen. I don't believe that it's the Jewish people's ideology to flood the West with migrants. That's not even a Zionist. Wow, I wasn't live for that. A Zionist movement does not want to flood its own countries with migrants. Simple as that. It would be against Israel's protocol, okay? So hearing that Israel wants to flood Israel, basically, with migrants just blows my mind. Maybe they want to fuck with Britain a little bit, but I don't think they want to fuck with America, their only friend. So here's the thing about Europe and UK and stuff. The UK don't like America. They're pissed off at us because we broke away from them. Ireland just wants to be left alone. They hate Britain. Do you know the politics in Europe, like between each other, between the different countries? They're kind of against each other. What the Irish say is, we finally got these damn Brits out of our country, and now we got a bunch of African migrants. That's how they, when, like, the people that I'm seeing attack Israel are the same people who want migrants to come into America. You guys, specifically, are the people that are trying to get migrants to come into this country. What are you talking about? Well, I'm going to tell you this. What has happened in the past, that benefits them to have a mixed society with no unifying identity to rule over. I know that many different places are allowed in Israel, but only as like a tourist destination, as far as I know. Because, like, is it one of these Muslim mosques in Israel? Irish and Britain are uniting against Browns mass invading you turd. Hmm. So that means that the rabbis have taken over the actual message, apparently. That's what it looks like to me. The people in charge, it doesn't surprise me that the people with the most power in a given society are going to pervert everything into something different, okay? I don't want to believe that Israel is trying to flood the West with people. But I'm gonna look into it. Believe me, I'm gonna look at AI. I'm gonna figure out what could be the psychological. I'm looking into it because I have never heard anything to this degree, and this is the first time I'm hearing about this. Well, it's a problem if Israel is trying to promote mass invasion, basically, of the West with these minority groups, supposedly. They included themselves, and they're like, please let us over there. Then I understand it, and I understand how it can be misread. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. Out. In reality, shit, this thing got disconnected. It may be from a different perspective than you're imagining. I don't believe that they actually want Westerners to be flooded with migrants. What I think it is if they're alluding anything to that point, is that they want to be assimilated into America in the West. And they're saying it in the same way that I kind of, dude, how many times am I going to get fucking kicked off, dude? This is insane. So I'm going to look into this messaging from rabbis. I'm going to find the information that you say is supposedly up there, allegedly up there. And I'm going to find out if it's simply as the Jews want to be included, or if they want to flood the West, like you said, try to assimilate the West with, new cultures and tear it down, and then they only keep their nationalism. But it doesn't seem as so, because I know that Israel is actually a multicultural nation itself as well. It allows other nations to enter, but not to really be residents there. They don't want people to be residents there. They just allow tourism. Yeah, I think there's a lot of things that have been misread, probably, and you have to understand there are agents somewhere within every single country and every single movement trying to be a troll and trying to offset things. So I'm gonna look into it. I believe what 2007 is saying, where he's saying that rabbis may be alluding to Western countries being more inclusive. But what I think it's about is, in a cute way, Israel just wants to be included with the West and they feel left out. So I'm going to find out if that's the truth or the other thing is the truth. I'm gonna study it. I'm gonna research this notion because maybe these are the things that I haven't come into contact with and I haven't been able to speak to yet. Yeah, I hear you. They believe that you said that they believe the West is an extension of Rome. They're still butthurt about their temple. I think that's just a few people. I don't think that's the general population. That's what I'm saying is that I think there's always going to be a disinformation agent in every single country and every single movement. And I think that's where you're getting that information from. When the rabbis are probably saying, rabbi is saying that, then what they're trying to say is that they wish to be included. And that's what I'm going to find out. I'm going to find it out. Believe me, this is how I research things. I hear things and then I go and research them. And that's how I come to the truth, the conclusion. So it's good to brainstorm. This is why I like to talk to people. I will find out the truth among truths. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to maintain your ethnicity to your culture, to your group of people that you've built the nation with. See, this is Israel. Every nation still deserves a majority population that is tied to that state. Yes. Hmm. That's why they call whites Esau and want us to go extinct because Rome conquered Judea. I don't see Italians as white. I'm pretty sure they're not exactly like fully white. I feel like they're not. That seems very invalid what you just said because Italians are kind of different than Europeans in a big way. So then, why are Jewish NGOs facilitating mass migration into specifically white nations? This is the same reason why you got lib fucking tards running NGOs here. Like I think that's the same group. You got the liberals and Jewland fucking coming over here and wrecking shit. Okay, and then you got the reasonable Jewish people that just want to be left alone. They said ISRAAID Israid is one of them. Um, but it just doesn't logically add up. That's the thing. I want to have these conversations. This is why I want free speech because we all have to be able to speak, so we can go and verify things. Italians are European. Some Southern Italians have mixed blood with Levant. Yes, Sicilians. What I've heard is like the black version of an Italian. That's what I was told. And one of my best friends growing up, my dad's best friend growing up, was Italian or Sicilian. So great people still. Didn't look very black. Um, but they're kind of like the Greeks. Like the Greeks, oh, they look so different. They look so different than Britain people. It really doesn't add up. It doesn't seem to add up yet, but I'm going to be looking into it, believe me, because this is interesting to hear that there is a message. If there's a widely distributed message about like the Western world, they want to inundate with the Western world with people and they want to get out of they're basically being trolls at that point. What you're trying to claim right now is that they're being trolls. That would mean that they are the trolls, and we'll find that out soon because I'll find out what the messaging is, if it's out there in the public and it's been just truthfully known. Um, how can Israel support Trump when Trump is trying to stop mass migration? Right? I just don't think it adds up. I think there's some kind of psyop going on. Oh, he's done plenty, and he's tried. Right now, he's trying to make the Somebody said Trump hasn't done shit about immigration. I believe that he's done plenty. He's trying to do more. He's trying to do Save America Act. What that would do is require an ID in order to vote. Currently, you can vote with a fucking like an internet bill. You don't even need an ID. God. How old are these people here? I wonder. Well, the thing is that even if they're young, even if they're old, there's still information to be had. If there is any validity behind what they're saying, then I'm gonna find out what the actual messaging is that they're misled about, and I'm going to do the research and I'm going to find out what the actual truth is. And if I see that it is this truth, then I might have a few criticisms towards Israel or something. But um, we'll find out because if what you're saying is genuine, then I'll find that out. The truth is what matters. And wow, somebody just I can verify that that's not the truth. There's not a stop going on with that. You have exactly what I voted for. I wanted a decentralized, in a way, mass removal of people that don't belong here. A remigration back to their own country. What do you mean ICE is a psyop? You just went from one side to the other. You just said, nah, man. I don't believe what they're saying at all. Like, I see the disinformation. I don't even think that chick is 15. She's trying to say that she's 15. I don't even think she is. I think that was fake too. It's interesting. All these NGOs promote mass migration, immigration to the West. I'll find out. Listen, I'm going to look into this stuff. AI is a super powerful tool now. I'll find the truth. That's interesting. But the thing that I'm more interested in is hearing what the rabbis have to say about inclusion. And if they're talking about inclusion, they just might want to be included. There's nothing wrong with that. It's kind of cute. If you want to make fun of them because they're a little bit lonely. Like if you want to make fun of them something real, like somebody, you can see it in somebody that's frustrated, like they're like, I want to be at the party, but fuck that party. You can see it in somebody's face. That might be what's going on. But we need to address these things, and this is all part of the story to get to the truth. And that's why I like to listen to these things. That's why I engage. It's because I need to learn the truth. And if it is true that Israel wants to inundate the West, I'm going to be a little bit disappointed. But I'm going to try to find out where the actual roots are to this claim. Because for every piece of information, there is a claim, there is going to be a root to that claim. And I'm going to find out. I'm going to find out. There's nuance in conversation. There's nuance in translation. There's nuance in communication. Even if you're an English person speaking English, there's still nuance. There's still things that are missed in that conversation that were misinterpreted. There's certain things that Trump had said that were misinterpreted. You thought that the dude posted a picture of himself as God. No, he was a healer. He was a priest, if anything. How did that picture depict him as God? That depicted him as just a priest. Yeah, I'm against abortion. Somebody said that I'm against abortion. Yeah, I'm against abortion, except for when it comes to rape. Do you know who's behind abortion feminism? Who's doing feminism? Who's doing feminism? Israel's not doing feminism, dude. Well, I'm gonna find out because the messaging in the rabbis would stand out as like the thing above all things because that's like the speaker. That's the one that represents what everybody's saying, and I'm gonna find out what the messaging actually is. Well, Trump is has nothing to do with Israel like that, dude. Like, no, 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 no. Um, Once you get older, you'll understand. Let's imagine that Israel is a psyop, okay? Let's just imagine it. If that was the truth, Trump still has nothing to do with it. His messaging had nothing to do with that. His messaging is one thing: get America back up on its feet. Okay? How do you do that? You get all of the immigrants that came over that stole our jobs out. How else do you do that? Make the world at peace. You go after the nation that's funding terrorism. Iran, the Iranian regime has verifiably supported terrorism, and we gave Iran money that they supported terrorism with. We didn't know that they were going to go spend it on that. Why would we want to fund people to attack us? That would be retarded. I'm pretty sure that didn't happen. So we gave them money to make their people prosperous and used it to put bombs in the sand to use on us later. So, in Jewish women created feminism? No, they didn't. What are you talking about, bro? This is interesting. But these are the things that they're saying to other people, and that's why it's important for me to pay attention to what they're saying. If what they're saying is not rooted in fact, I'll find out. If what they're saying is rooted in some fact and they're using it to trick other people, I have an argument against it. So I need to study all of these things that they're claiming. Keep yapping, guys, so I can look into this later. Like, why is that not turning on? So we got yeah, the Etienne Emile Bailu or whatever creating the abortion pill. I don't think that calls them out as anything built in a conspiracy because that's just person developing something. It's like the same thing with Trump making the vaccine. Like he he put funding towards Warp Speed, a project to create mRNA vaccines and perfect the process. Okay, he was trying to help develop new scientific technologies that he thought that would actually work. unintentionally, he also kind of pushed for the people to get the vaccine. Now, here's the thing about the mRNA vaccines. People say that the mRNA vaccines it causes the actual illness, and they make these claims. And here's the danger with mRNA vaccines is that it's a new technology. It has nothing to do with the actual technology itself being totally ineffective. In this case, it was. But the real problem with it, the thing that was causing pericarditis and myocarditis, was the contamination during that process in creating that vaccine. So you'll get a little bit of metal in there that you don't want in your blood system. It'll bind with the iron in your blood. It'll, magnetize it or whatever, and then you get clots, and then so the process wasn't perfected. Okay, that was the real danger with the vaccine. So one out of maybe 1,000 to 10,000 people may get a bad side effect from the vaccine. Um, hmm. See, I'm getting tired, but I'm gonna be looking into this stuff. And oh yeah, I gotta also put the thing about rabbis. I'm gonna dig into this. Good. I am a glutton for information, and I do not have the whole picture yet. You know. Let's see. Vaccine conspiracies are stupid sideshow bullshit for people to spin their wheels on. Can I give you some recommendations? Dude, the guy just refuted what I said when I explained how the technology itself is by design and scientifically provable not a perfect technique. Yes, it's a science that may be effective, but the technique hasn't been perfected because it was a brand new technology. Like it was like the mass production of it was a brand new technology. It was already created decades ago. So decades ago, they already had this technology. They just hadn't applied it in mass produced it. But they were able to do that because Trump had signed warp speed to get the vaccine out quick for all the people worried about the sniffles. Okay, I didn't take the vaccine. I'm a pure blood. I had COVID 3 times. At least 2 times, and maybe the third time was bird flu. So I may have had bird flu. And when I caught bird flu, it was from eating chicken, eating it, consuming it. So it was not, you didn't catch it by breathing it in. You caught it by eating it. So like the facts on it, I believe are false. So the facts that are on Google about bird flu, I think it was you ingest meat that was contaminated with bird flu. Then that's how you catch it. These are such hardcore trolls, dude. Like I can see it because this was a blasphemous comment that didn't have anything like relative to be spoken of uh, included in the statement. The fact that your babies need vaccines when they're born is just a testament of how fucked they are. Come on, what? That didn't have anything to do with what I said. Zero. That had nothing to do with what I just said. Like, are you drunk? That's not a 15-year-old. Vayvicte is not a 15-year-old. 100%. This is like a 20-something-year-old that's like trying to cause, if not even 40-year-old. It might be a 40-year-old. Just trying to cause havoc, chaos. Nobody has this much in them to just continuously hate that much. Like, dude, you would have had to live 30 years to be this hateful. So just the fact that you have lied about your actual age is just terrible. I mean, it's like that's automatic. These people are not genuine. He says, I genuinely wonder what these two look like. Currently, I am rooting for short, overweight Pakistani. Come on. Idiots thinking that, okay, vaccines are proof of the medical advancement of the white man. The problem is vaccinating the entire third world interfering with nature. Idiots thinking that worldwide have adopted a ploy to create institutions, agencies, and businesses for hundreds of years to cheat people. Well, no, that's just how business works. That's not just Jewish people. That's just people in general. It didn't take for you to be a Jew or a Christian, whatever. It's a decentralized thing. You know, it. You have to at least acknowledge that the business world is corrupt, but it can't just be one nation doing it. Like it's inherently impossible. It's at its base impossible because it's a decentralized type of thing. You know, whoever's doing bad also does bad together. That's literally what that's about. Look up propaganda poster they did on Jewish doctors giving babies vaccines in Weimar Republic. I just like I'll look into stuff, but this is what they're telling people, and that's where they're twisting people's brains. I'm going to be looking at all this stuff. I got a whole list of things that I got to look up later. But when I found, yeah, propaganda that tells you everything, propaganda that tells you everything. Now, here's the thing. Hey, careful with that, because I don't want you to get like reported and shit. Like they might report you, but we want to not, you know, speak too ill of people based on like their race or whatever. I'm not about the racism, man. So we're gonna do a little this right here. Remove. Oh, I'm gonna do a little bit of control stuff. I think that's all I have to really delete. So negative IQ can apply to anybody. Doesn't require a country or a race to describe somebody with negative IQ. But yeah, I'm gonna look through this information. I'm gonna see how they're tricking people. Whoever might be tricking, I'm gonna find out which side's tricking who. It is communication intent on manipulation. So yes, it is. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. So I see signs of that. Like notice how many people are here to go after one person too. There's 3 people right now texting against one person. Like you got a gang that's collectively like together like, "Oh, let's go after him." If Israel had so much influence, wouldn't this guy have like 5 other people behind him backing him up? It seems a little bit lonely. So I'm kind of looking at like, why are you ganging up on him? And there's got to be a reason for it. Yeah, because Christianity is an inclusive religion. If you'd like to marry outside of Christianity, that's fine. It's not a crime. It's not against the 10 Commandments to marry outside of your culture. It's not against the Bible to do that. They just have to assimilate. They have to at least own up to the same standards that you have, and it's not hard to keep stay on the same page of the 10 Commandments. It's not really hard. I can give you a hint on who owns the banks. They killed Charlie and JFK also. Okay. It's not true. Yeah, you see how hard they gang up to chase a narrative rather than actually fix things. Because think about it at the end of the day. What are you guys doing? You're all bickering. Like, who cares? We need to deal with that. Like, there's 5 people in the chat right now, 4 people in the chat right now attacking one person. Those people right now, if you hate the fact that Jewish people are in charge, well, let's be proactive. Let's work together. You want to build a society, we can build a society. I'm Christian in the sense that I just want to be left alone. I want to do trade with you, but when I'm at my house, I want to be left alone. If I'm outside, I don't want to be killed. It's not hard. If I have a kid one day and they want to be, I think that they should be married before they, before they have a kid. If they want to do that, then respect them. I want to be married before I have a child. I don't want to have a child before I'm married. It's not hard to respect. But we can work together. We can build. Well, I'll tell you this. Jews aren't in control of everything. There is no consolidates, Jew ploy. Now, here's the thing is that there is some level of that. So we can't disregard that, by its nature, um, the Jewish people would want to be exclusive to their own corner. But like that's not a problem. It feels like people hate because they want to be exclusive, but those people who are hating are also exclusive. So the same people complaining to you about this, that, and the other are also not very inclusive. Well, who cares, guys? Where's my support? When are you guys gonna actually do something with me? You know what I mean? Like, I've seen y'all come around on these chats for over a year now, and not one person has said, "Bro, where can I hit you up?" You know what I mean? Like, I see very few people doing that. So it's good to have this conversation. I'm gonna have this conversation furthermore after the fact, once I do a little bit more research. So I got a few things I gotta research, but besides that, I am going to be leaving. I'm going to be going to sleep soon. I should have been already sleeping, but I know for a fact that I can probably sleep through the day. So that's really the goal. So just in case my phone doesn't come in, I don't get too bored. But besides that, I hope everybody has a wonderful night and everybody comes up with a plan. Soon I'll have new socials. I will be getting Discord. Ooh, yeah. I'm going to get Discord soon. And that's because it's more secure than Telegram. And I'm going to be doing some research though, and I want to revisit these topics at some point because I want to address all this stuff. If this is what they've been telling people, and it's like really that convoluted, if it's that twisted, if they're twisting things that hard, no wonder you got Candace Owens thinking that Israel had anything to do with ending Charlie Kirk. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I think Candace Owens isn't a bad person. I think, she's been tricked by these fucking trolls. I think that's what happened. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna find out. Believe it. Like, and the trolls, if what you're saying is true, I'm gonna find out too. But now I've been led onto a research rabbit hole, and I am the best at that, and I will find out the truth. And I'll be looking into the rabbi's speech. I'll be looking at translations with this. I will be looking into what other things, the abortion thing. So we got Lawrence later, I think it was, with abortion, the feminism spawning from, Jewish people. What I think, if that was the case, it was because you had just, not everybody that believes in God is going to be acting the same as another person who believes in God. Christianity is a pretty decentralized kind of thing. What we do in our own house is our own business, as long as we're not harming people. Don't forget to check the Book of Revelation. Yeah, the Book of Revelation, it describes people like these who are doing this kind of troll shit. You got Jezebel, and that putting the woman in charge and Jezebel's lies is what basically kicks off Revelations. Well, wait. Discord is owned by a Jew, right? What's Telegram owned by? A Frenchman. Right? Isn't Pavel Durov a Frenchman? So, what does that say? I got hacked on Telegram. I didn't get hacked on Discord. So, are you telling me that Jews are my friends? Because they're not the ones hacking me, apparently. Nah, these people will play both sides. For the Jewish person in the chat, understand what kind of attack that's going on. I was hacked by somebody that had Trump as their background. In the chat where I found this person, there was someone with an Israeli flag next to their name. These people are posing as Trump supporters, posing as Israel-based people. Maybe they even live in Israel, but they ain't Israeli. I've been following this rabbit hole, and I will find the truth. And I will put justice to truth. That's what I can do. I appreciate you guys all joining. I appreciate the likes. And I hope I can come to you guys with the absolute truth and address all of these concerns. Thank you very much for this new stuff. And for this new stuff for me to dig into. It's very interesting. But whoever's guilty will be called out for being guilty. Later, guys. Thank you.